Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Click R3 number 34. Click R3, 25 years in the making, almost 25 years in the making, 24 years in the making. Well before the show was even around, yes. There's something massive has happened in gaming, and it, maybe depending on how old you are, it will be a bigger deal or not to you. But we have seen the unbelievable happen today. Even though it was kind of being built up, it still seemed like it had that kind of impact and that shock factor online. And man, with us tonight, one of the other hosts of this show, Ryan, had like firsthand experience with the game. He's played it. He talked to people at Halo Studios who worked on it. It's a big day today. Ryan got an interview with Xbox before PlayStation.
It's a very interesting thing how these two companies operate. One I've been covering for like 13, 14 something years, like 5 years professionally. The other guy, obviously it wouldn't make sense most of the time. The second they start making PlayStation games,
there it is.
They waltz right in. Yes.
Did you tell them usually you watch Sling TV on your Xbox and that's like your main thing?
No.
It's like use the Insider app. You're like, okay, is that near the Sling TV app or?
Stop, John. That Insider app wasn't working though. First, I couldn't download the build for for a few hours.
Oh man, you're sweating.
Well, I was like, oh, if I can't get the B-roll, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I mean, that was the big thing today. Halo. All over the place right now. A lot of opinions about it, conversation around the future of Halo.
PlayStation
now.
Halo on PlayStation. And let's just get the cat out of the bag here. So Halo Campaign Evolved, remake
on PlayStation.
Remake of Combat Evolved Anniversary. Shipping on PlayStation 5, 2026. That's what they're willing to say right now.
Yeah, it's going to have, there's going to be a platinum trophy for Halo.
There will be.
That's weird, right? As it's just, it's strange to see Master Chief on, next to the PlayStation logo, on the PlayStation Store. You go on there, boom, there he is.
Well, we were saying we've been, covering this for weeks now, John, ever since the inception of Click R3, which is that we're always saying this. There's one game where that's the big Band-Aid pull. These little ones felt pretty weird. And we got to Forza Horizon. That was like a really big deal. Gears, I think, was pretty monumental. But even Gears was like, okay, they're just sort of porting a remaster, a sort of updated remaster. This is a full commitment to not just rebuild this game in UE5, but have complete parity and making sure that PlayStation players get to experience it too.
So that was a really interesting part because you did your entire interview and they started talking about stuff that I wasn't expecting to go into this. We hear about new content for the game, that's really intriguing. There was 3 new missions we're going to get?
Right. Yeah, it definitely more than what I was thinking too. And I was sort of sitting from the sidelines watching everyone speculate on what they were planning on doing with this game. Because you would think like, oh, is it just another anniversary type situation? It's a full remake, and they're adding new stuff as well. So 3 story missions. That's going to be prior to the events of the main game. So there's going to be like 3 story missions that focus on Chief and Johnson's relationship. And that's cool. That's not going to impede on like the core timeline, right? Like they're not touching any of that. They also were pretty, for the most part, willing to admit that like we will be making gameplay refinements to certain areas where structurally we couldn't change things, like the library. An Anniversary, it's still Combat Evolved. I would think the implication here is that something like the library will structurally be moved around a bit so that level is not nearly as tedious.
Right. Yeah, that with a lot of questions around how closely is it going to follow. And they showed that the footage for Silent Cartographer, which by the way, good mission to pick. I kind of thought that'd be the mission too, that they would decide to use. And some of that is because back in the day, that was the demo level. It was Silent Cartographer. So they're just coming full circle here. And they're like, okay, that's going to be our demo level again. And it makes perfect sense because that game, mission in the game has a little bit of everything. You're outdoors, you're indoors, you have vehicles, you have NPCs running around. You drop immediately into like a battlefield, a war zone happening essentially. It's a good way to show off the game in like 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Um,
It's
and
a good range of
that's what you had a chance to check out.
yeah, it's a good range of environments too, because you're on a gorgeous looking beach with, sort of lush geography, and then you're getting into the sort of sci-fi elements of the tunnel and corridor areas that you have to explore for that level too.
Yeah, so hopefully this comes through okay. Right, this is your footage as you were playing the game.
Hmm.
What they let you play.
The only thing we weren't allowed to capture or at least show is menus. There's not really much in there, but it's the sort of opening sequence for a silent cartographer.
Yes. So I mean but again, this was to me, this is for a lot of people going to be a very iconic mission. So it made sense. And you know what? I had some questions that I did get answered on X, because I think Gene was posting about it too. Like a lot of people, of course, got a chance to play it. And the other nice thing about Silent Cartographer is while there is like a path you follow, you can kind of do other things in the mission. It's not necessarily a corridor. So for example, some people got in the Warthog and let the CPU drive. That's a thing in Halo in this remake.
Mhm.
Whereas back in the day in Halo 1, we didn't get the ability to have the Marines drive until Halo 2. So that's new. Like I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing to hear about. And I saw in your interview, they mentioned that the Warthog will have 4 seats now.
Mhm.
So because we're going to have online co-op with this.
Yes. Well, local, so you still have local up to 2 players, and then online cross-platform is 4. So that's the commitment the commitment they're doing right now to any sort of actual multiplayer content. It is new, obviously, going up to 4 cross-platform, but nothing in the PvP area.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to be just co-op all the way through. And I mean, the campaign itself is, I think, lengthy enough to be like, people are curious about the pricing on this. I'm not viewing this as a full price game. Like, I don't think it's going to be $70. No.
I would think 60 minimum.
Yeah. But like the 70 or even, I mean, we see
not 70
Nintendo with 80. No, I think this will be, I'm kind of envisioning it to be, I mean, how much was Oblivion remastered? That was $50, wasn't it?
It's a weird thing though too, right? They went out of their way to label that game a remaster. Pound for pound, that thing looks visually so distinctly different from the original. It's weird how sometimes that language is very.
Your controller batteries are low.
Yeah,
oh, that's Sling TV.
I haven't used it in a while. There's a gray area with this language, right? I mean, this is something they're saying right off rip. This is a remake. They are fundamentally making new content, reestablishing certain aspects of the game. I mean, the other thing that's up for contention, John, and this is kind of what I was always prodding you about, is the actual gameplay refinements. I mean, we've seen in some of this footage already. I mean, it absolutely has sprint, and it's like it's a pick up and play type of modern Halo. That's sort of what Greg Herman, the game director, was getting at when I was asking him how you sort of walking that balance of how does it feel like, how do you walk that tightrope of maintaining the classic feel and something for new players as well. He wanted it to be a very pick up and play thing, which, I mean, to his point, like I'm jumping back and forth between this pre-release build and CE anniversary, and the controller layout is obviously different as far as what you can even zoom with, but zoom is different, and obviously you can't sprint. I will say, like, jumping back and forth in the moment, like, this feels faster. It still has a definitely a faster pace to it, which sprint plays a role in that, of course. I think you already seen too. This is not me controlling the Warhog, by the way. So the first time I got into it was the AI.
Oh, okay. This is the AI driving you around, right?
I think I got into it earlier. I wasn't super paying attention.
Oh, there it is. You are. Yeah, you're in the passenger seat.
Right. Yeah. And well, that threw me off at first because I was on the other door and I just thought, oh, like, well, I'll get in from here because I didn't want to walk around. And it started, the AI was controlling it.
Wall. it does that. Sometimes in the old, like the original one, you would put them in because because they could still shoot in the original and the gunner. And if they wiped out a whole bunch of grunts or like an elite, they would then just keep shooting the elite like the dead body
Mhm.
and like talk smack on it. Like while they're doing it. Like
Yeah.
that was the thing they did. So that's just why I was laughing at him shooting the wall, because maybe it was trying to shoot one of these, enemies through the wall, just AI path, whatever. Because this is the pre-release build work in progress. I get that. It just reminded me of back in the day when the computer would just go nuts and just start laying into like a dead body.
Yeah.
That was cool. I didn't realize that. Yeah, because that was a question I had, was can the AI drive? Apparently it can.
Started doing it right away. I'm like, oh, I'm not even driving. You have to
That's
make
interesting.
sure you have to be mindful of taking the driver's seat when you're
Okay.
playing.
Okay. So I mean the 4-player though, that's the thing I'm curious about. 4-player online cross platform. So PlayStation and Xbox and even PC, I guess, can all be in the same room playing.
Mhm.
That's it, because then you also have the Xbox ROG Ally X that I'm sure this will work on. Well, I'm curious to see how that'll go over, in terms of frame rate and stuff. But for the most part, it works into their play anywhere mentality right now, where we'll have a bunch of different devices connecting all at once and playing. So that the 4-player co-op is interesting, because it just used to just be 2 players. So
Mhm.
I'm curious to see how that'll work out with some of these levels.
Oh, it'll definitely be a different feel for sure. I think it's fun. I mean, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I would have
Hmm.
otherwise, but I think it helps to jump back between CE Anniversary and this, just to have that more tangible feel of like how much more modern it does feel. But that's like, again, the contention point. I think a lot of purists would still have a problem with the way the game does feel in the moment to moment gameplay sequences. But I mean,
Got it.
that's a question I asked too. I'm like, is there like granular controls? Could you maybe like fine tune this game and sort of pull back those new features to play it like vanilla Halo? You
Mhm.
said there's some, not a lot, but there's certainly some toggles that you can mess with. Maybe you
They
can
said you
just
can turn. They said you can turn off sprint.
yeah. So like you can, I mean, you could at the very minimum probably tool around with that. I'm not sure if they're letting you like use the original straight up soundtrack.
Mhm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, this is so. The thing is, there are many people I know right now who have not played the Halo 1 campaign, which is, I mean, just disgusting stuff. And this is a great chance for them to do that, because while I like the Halo 1 campaign, because it was kind of that, like, I remember when it first came out kind of mentality, and I can go back and almost put the blinders on for how games are now versus going back and playing the first Halo. There are going to be a lot of people, especially the newer generation, who would pick up the controller and go, what is this? And I don't get it. So the remakes, I think, have always had a good place in gaming, the industry. I mean, it depends on, of course, the time period as well. This game has been remade. This would be the third time. Well, the last one, they didn't take as many liberties as apparently they are now, where they're just even changing some levels completely, like
Mhm.
to more streamline, or whatever, as you mentioned, the library. So that one, while it was remade, it wasn't like fully remade, really. It was more like that remaster where they overlay on top of the original game. But I think a game like this with a remake, I think could be a good thing to get Halo back on track. Especially, yes, if they were going to PlayStation, they may as well go there with the original, the story that we all remember from back in the day that started it all.
Mhm. And I did ask about the possibility of more games, Master Chief
Mm-hmm.
Collection. Of course, they're not going to really say anything, but I tried. They're like, well, we can't really talk about the roadmap just yet. And what's funny, because I building up to this announcement, or this rumor rather, and there's been so much speculation on when Halo comes to PlayStation, what does that look like? It seems like a lot of people still came down to, I would just prefer the Master Chief Collection, to have those like
Hmm.
pretty OG versions of the game spanning damn near the entire franchise and have it
Right.
all in one complete package. So, I mean, you're not getting that on PlayStation. Um, I also asked about, PS5 specific features. So things like 3D audio, DualSense haptics, triggers. They're not directly confirming that. They're just saying that where Halo will be, we want to, make sure as it plays as best as it can on that platform. That extends to PS5 Pro as well. I would think they are going to be using those things. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, that just seems like details we'll get in a press release later, or like an
yeah.
interview or something where they really get into it. Cause I'm still trying to figure out when this game is going to release. I was almost thinking first half of 2026, but I don't know. Maybe this really is being set up for literally the anniversary of the game in November. Like what, November 11th or 12th or something like that. Maybe they're just waiting until then to release it. Like we could be more than a year out, but then here you are playing it. So I don't know. That's the thing. It's hard to say how far out we are from this, because the thing now though, as you mentioned, Master Chief Collection, that's a lot of people were like, hey, just move that over. So I think moving Master Chief Collection over, if we were in a vacuum and it's like we could snap your finger, pick, which path you want, I think that would make sense. That would probably be the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know how feasible that is for them right now with how much work went into Master Chief Collection. And then if you saw the amount of time it took them to move to PC, that's because that game is still kind of busted, and the code for it, like, it is. I mean, when that game came out, it was disastrous, and it still kind of feels like it's held together barely. So I do wonder what the porting process would look like, and then they'd have to also maintain it going forward. And I almost think they're looking at this PlayStation release as sort of like a fresh start for them. As crazy as it sounds, because Halo's been around for so long, but it's now Halo Studios. They renamed it. It kind of feels like, hey, Halo, because they even said right on stage, this is a new era. Halo's going to be where PlayStation is. Like, we're on PlayStation now as well. And that's kind of that. So I get the Master Chief Collection call, but that is kind of, it sounds weird to say, but like the old guard of Halo at this point. And this is like the new guard coming in.
Well, that's the thing too, is a Master Chief Collection on PS5 is strictly that. It's not like it's going, I mean, I guess possibly Switch 2, but it seems like Xbox Game Studios is not really doing a lot of Switch 2 stuff right now. So not really sure what's going on there, but you would think it's strictly a PlayStation 5 effort. I'm almost inclined to say like it's not coming, and it probably will never come. Like it's remakes. Yeah, like Halo 2, Halo 3, and that's it.
I think, well, here's what I think we're gonna see is these campaign remakes, as you're mentioning, and so I even saw in your interview they were being very, very careful about this. There's a multiplayer project coming, and I almost thought they were going to announce it around the time of this as well, and they still could. It's possible because they have like the Halo stuff. I know the World Champ stuff going on. I mean, it's possible they could announce some multiplayer thing at the end of the weekend or something. Like, it's possible, but it could be even later on. They didn't want to get all the wires crossed for marketing and all the press stuff they were doing. There is a multiplayer game that's coming out, multiplayer only, I should say, that's supposed to be like a live service Halo kind of game. That is a thing. It's in development, and it seems like that's going to be revealed here pretty soon. It's 2 Halo games coming out next year. This one and then the other one. All right. Yeah. So there will be something multiplayer Halo related. It just kind of seems that this is a way for them to get on PlayStation without telling the PlayStation community to go play a bunch of other Halo games first or something.
Well, I think it speaks to that point I brought up before about Halo coming to PlayStation, and that you can only do it one time. So do you bring all the games over and that's it, and then the novelty wears off immediately? Or do you make it a whole big thing, Halo 1 remake, this multiplayer thing, and then if any other campaigns they end up doing, like, that happens on a rolling basis, If there's always a thing to it when 2 comes, 3 comes, ODST. So,
yeah, I assume 2 is next, but I'll tell you 3 does need the remake treatment, the remake, I guess, treatment. You fell off the side of that with the word. Oh, man.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah. Those poor Marines. Tell them get in here and drive me around.
Well, I keep forgetting. I'm like, I got to keep going around to the driver's seat because they're going to drive for me.
I assume Halo 2 is next. Halo 3 needs the remake treatment, though. That one, we just haven't had one. We've had Halo 2 get this kind of treatment, but 3 would still be a ways off. Still, though, I think if they go through and do these remakes, it could be pretty cool. When they showed it, I was looking, I'm like, okay, this looks kind of what I'm expecting. It started, when you look at the scenery, I was getting a little worried because I'm thinking, ooh, okay, Unreal Engine kind of look to it a bit. But to be fair, Unreal, a lot of the scenery just looks like rocks and stuff. They all look kind of same across games, but it ends up being this art style you put on it. So for example, when you see Master Chief and the Marines and the War Dog and all that and Covenant in the shot with it, it looks like Halo. So it especially a lot of like the Forerunner stuff and all the buildings and different things they have in here, the architecture, it looks like Halo. So
Mhm.
I was concerned about Unreal Engine, but it seems like their art department has done some good work here. So I personally like what I'm seeing. I need to see what the price is. Again, I'm a little unsure about because if they want it to be, it's going on PlayStation, and I know that they are kind of that mentality of, because we've seen it already with some of these games. Hey, if you're going on PlayStation, you're going to pay for it. So like actually pay, like really pay. So you might be onto something that it's like $60 there, and it'll be on Game Pass, of course.
I
But
mean, John, to be fair, with those Game Pass prices, you're paying for it there too.
no, that is true. That
Maybe
is
it
true.
does. Yeah, I mean, if you account for the 1 month fee versus the a la carte price, sure, but they're trying to get their money on any platform at this point.
That is true. No, you're right. You're right. I don't know, just $50 for some reason was jumping out to me for the price. That's just
Wasn't wait, what did Gears Reloaded release at? 40?
that's
40
40.
or
Yeah.
50? It was 40.
Yeah.
I just don't know if like $10 more and you're getting a whole UE5 remake with new content, you know.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, Gears had the multiplayer though. Yeah.
It's a remaster.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out, I guess, when we get closer to the release. And again, I'd like to think this is most because I'd like to play through it. Like first half of 2026 would be nice. And so here's the question: then, are you going to platinum Halo when it
Well,
comes to PlayStation?
I'm familiar with this achievement list, John, and it's not. I know it's not a walk in the park here.
It's not. There should be
Yeah,
legendary.
I know it's not a walk. I know the skull modifiers. Yeah, I'm no stranger to what this game could be. So it would probably be very, very difficult. I'm not sure if a modern Ryan has what it takes to go through.
Oh man, really?
Well, we were talking about this prior to recording, John. Your boy's going through the ringer right now.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm very little.
You don't have much longer.
I'm on very little sleep. And since you spoiled it so many fucking times, I can at least say like I played Mind's Eye.
Oh, no wonder you look all like battered.
Yeah, that was like a few days ago. Very little
stays
sleep.
with you. It stays with you.
John, I didn't hate it.
Wow, interesting, really.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I played with the most recent patches. I'm not saying the thing was a dream. You know, it's still 30 FPS, but I wasn't running into all the crazy stuff that was shared on Twitter. I don't like none of it. It was just like a regular 30 FPS kind of not great game.
Oh, well,
yeah,
that's fine. You've been playing these games in the fidelity 30 FPS mode though, so I don't know.
I know only some.
It's Horizon.
No, I didn't play Horizon. Actually,
I thought you did.
Yeah, Forbidden West, I'd play at 30.
I remember we had a whole conversation about that. You said it, and I was like, "Oh, what the world?"
Well, no, if you remember, Forbidden West had some like issues in that performance mode when it dropped.
It had like you're right, the shimmering that was going on.
Yeah, it's the shimmering issue. I don't know. If the game is like a visual showcase and it's not super kinetic, I will play 30. It's fine to me. Okay. I think we forget the consoles we grew up on, PS1, 2, and certainly PlayStation 3. It's a lot of 30 FPS games. A lot of them.
So, yeah, I mean, you go back to that 360 PS3 era. Whew.
Well, those are like 20 frame per second games. So.
It was like 20 frames, and if you hit 720p, it was incredible. I think we forget that. There was a video I was gonna make, and I was trying to put together. I did that like emulation PC. I put that together, and people like that because it's cheap, right? It's like, hey, you can build this emulation PC. Games are expensive. Here's an alternative for less than $100 or something. And I was looking, I was like, I bet you I could put together a slightly more expensive, but still kind of cheap PC and be able to play those Xbox 360 and PS3 generation games that released on PC alongside of it, because a lot of them did, and they just run better on PC. And the price I was able to get one of these computers at that can run better or even comparable at times to PS3 360, little surprising. I was a little shocked. Doesn't cost much.
What was it?
The PC,
Yeah.
like, is a little less than $150.
Okay. All right. You
Yeah, and
still got
like
to
I'm
use.
playing the games at 1080p.
Hey, still got to use 360 or PS3 for like 50 to less than $100. So
That is true. That is true. But this one's playing the games at 1080p and sometimes 60 frames per second.
disgusting. Disgusting.
Doesn't have a Blu-ray player though. No Blu-ray player.
It's even more disgusting.
There it
How are
is.
you gonna play your Blu-ray copy of Talladega Nights,
See,
the Ballad of Ricky Bobby?
it's a battle I can't win.
Can't even
So
play HD DVDs on it either.
what is this Halo on PlayStation? What is this? What do you think this means for Xbox now? Because this is weird, isn't it? I saw that tweet from PlayStation. I was like, this feels wrong to look. I shouldn't be looking directly at this. Like,
I mean, not to it's not the PlayStation podcast spending so much time on Xbox news, but like that was a story this week. We finally got like context on what this like company, like what pressure they're under. Allegedly the CFO, Amy Hood, put this accountability margin on the division of 30%, which
love that
is
term, accountability margin.
yeah. Well, it's literally like just such specific language of like, hey guys, get your shit together. But it's based on the timing and like this. I speculated on this. You did. Many people, and we all sort of saw this in a very public way anyway, because there was the FTC trial, the antitrust stuff, things coming out of the CMA, Apple versus Epic. We had all these emails and these chat logs from Xbox leadership. Like the Xbox division, for the most part, probably still wanted to do like traditional console exclusivity and still go down that standard path. But the last 2 years or so, it's corporate that just wants more out of them. And what does that lead to after you shell out a bunch of cash to pick up ABK, pick up Bethesda? It's a lot of money. Now you see the layoffs, see the studio closures, you see the cancellations, you see the prices going up, and you see a pressure to see more returns on their games, and that's shipping on PlayStation. That's shipping on Nintendo. So I mean, that was like really big news on the Xbox side of things.
Oh yeah.
Really. I can't say I'm surprised. Like I always thought from the outside looking in that this was kind of like a slight civil war. I don't think Xbox actually wanted to go down that path. Sounds like it was just corporate finally saying, you guys got to start doing something.
Okay, I was pulling up. People were asking. I was pulling up the tweet. There it is.
Yeah.
Cut it, pasted it right there. Master Chief comes to PlayStation. Look at that. 3 million views on it, like impressions on it in a few hours. So a lot of people checking it. I mean, that's going to be good publicity for Halo. There's going to be a lot of interest in it on PlayStation. And I'll say, obviously, Halo is just going to sell better on PlayStation. It is weird, right? So we're in this weird universe where Xbox is having interviews with Ryan and Halo's selling best on PlayStation.
Did you think this would happen 2 years ago?
2 years ago,
even 2 years ago. Like, when was the initial roundtable conversation? The roundtable.
They said 4 games.
Yeah, these 4 games. Like, let's go back to that. And did you sincerely think like, okay, these 4 games, is that going to lead to our biggest well-known property going to PlayStation?
I feel like. I think at one point, I'm trying to think 2 years ago, I did make the pitch because of where Halo was. It was in the gutter. It was bad.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? Maybe it is time for it to go to PlayStation because they're just not doing anything else with it. And that was around the time I think we were hearing that 343 was like laying people off, and that the Bonnie Ross, I think, had left, quote unquote. We don't really know, all the ins and outs of that, exactly what happened there behind the scenes. But when you start seeing that, it's like they're restructuring, and it sounded bad. And I said, maybe it needs that shot in the arm, and it is time. But I still was kind of like, that's just me, throwing that out there. I don't know if it's necessarily going to happen because I mean, Phil Spencer's been on record. If we lose our way with Halo, it's basically over. And maybe
that quote, I forgot that one.
There's a quote of him saying that. Now, look, that was years ago. Half the time, the people at Xbox say something. 3 weeks later, it's something different. I don't know.
Oh yeah. So the one floating around about we're not going to grow the industry with $1,000 consoles, and you got Sarah Bond saying we're going to make a premium high-end box. So
Yeah, so they're probably gonna put out a $1,200 system. Let's just all be real about this right now. It's gonna be weird, but it looks strange. I think people are to the point now where it's like it's doom, because of this. It's over. I think once we started hearing that Microsoft corporate was running the show, it was kind of over there. Let's be real, because that's people do not like. I see it. People obviously dunk on Phil Spencer a lot and stuff. I will tell you, if Phil Spencer wasn't there, from what's been said and what I hear now and then, it sounds like Xbox might not exist right now. Like just it might be gone. And people look at that Activision Blizzard deal as like the nail in the coffin, because now here comes corporate Microsoft getting involved, because they've spent upwards, with Activision Blizzard being the major chunk, but all these studios and acquisitions, like almost $100 billion. So now here comes basically the parent, which is Microsoft corporate, looking around at the kid that they keep buying all this cool stuff for. And it's like, okay, you got to get a job now, basically. I mean, yeah. But here's the thing. I think if they didn't buy Activision Blizzard and you're Microsoft, what exactly is keeping you tied to having Xbox exist? Like, there's not as much value. Sure, you did like the Bethesda thing, ZeniMax Bethesda, nowhere near the amount of money they spent on Activision Blizzard. And now you control Call of Duty, which is a massive franchise. I almost wonder if they'd be able to have justified it a bit more to just say, I think we're done with Xbox, if they didn't buy Activision Blizzard.
Well, that's the thing. It kind of like secured their future in games publishing, but
Yeah.
but it's just that it's games publishing. Like,
Yep.
If they don't have that, right? If they had just like their core Xbox Game Studios lineup, which even prior to Bethesda, like they were kind of scooping up individual studios like crazy from like 2018 to, was that 2019, 2020,
Yes.
no, up to 2022 almost.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's that one E3, I think it was when E3 was still around. It was like a 1 minute segment. Phil's on stage. We picked up Playground. We picked
Obsidian.
up a Double Fine. Yeah, like so but even then, right? I think that's not enough to carry games publishing for them. So
Right.
like I think that kind of secured their future in the industry, but just not in the way that we expected them to go. That was the big thing about them picking up publishers. It was like, oh my God, like if they can't make a console work with this, then what would work? And then we come to find out they weren't really willing to commit to the traditional model.
Yeah, and eventually you just have so many like they literally are buying publishers, and like they have so many under their umbrella that it actually makes it difficult to just tie it to one console because of how costly it all is. I think it'd be difficult for any of these companies or major platform holders, Sony or Nintendo, if they owned all this stuff, to keep it on one platform, because there's just not enough people that would hold all this stuff up, especially when we hear about the effect that live service games have on the industry right now. You're already apparently cutting, half the revenue out for that. You have to carve out that, earmark, half of the revenue that comes in, that's live service. The other half is what can be divvied up to all these other games, so you're already kind of behind the 8 ball right away. So they have to keep expanding and looking everywhere they can. And that includes, as we're seeing, the Switch 2. We're starting to see some stuff get announced and come out next year, like Indiana Jones as an example. Call of Duty, I think, will finally make it next year for Nintendo. It's just they're starting a little behind with Nintendo. There was a whole dev kit thing that was going on apparently, but that'll get caught up. So sure, Halo Campaign Evolved, maybe a later release then for Nintendo, but like they're gonna do everything they can. Cell phones will get whatever they can make happen. So it's interesting time. I mean, look, they'll probably become, they are kind of now, but like the biggest publisher in gaming. It'll happen. But that means they're also probably resigned to the idea of selling 10 million consoles next generation.
Do you think 10 million?
I mean, if it's $1,200, dude, I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing. Like if it's weird, that Mashable interview with Sarah Bond, Xbox president, that 8-minute something conversation was about the Xbox ROG Ally X. And that was the question, was next gen consoles. And she said, well, I can't really say anything, but this device right here, like that's basically what we're looking to do. So you think, okay, well, if not to be super technical here, but the Xbox ROG Ally X, I mean, it's a portable PC. Portable PCs have only sold like what? I think the entire market for that thing is under 10 million still.
Yeah, it's like 6 or
Still,
7 million, yeah. Mhm.
I mean, if they sell like $1,000+ console, I don't know how that does 10 million units.
Yeah.
Because that's what we always talked about is like if they're going to upend the console model where you typically subsidize the box, sell it at a loss, a very affordable low price, and people buy from your marketplace, that's how you make the money back. You're going to be cannibalizing your own storefront. You got to make money on the box. Plus, we just like the rumors for their machine, like their specs. If you compare them to what we're hearing for PlayStation 6, they're
Yep.
punching well above PlayStation 6.
It sounds like they're building a PC. That's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Well, but so like just off that alone, like not even so much economies of scale, the specs we're hearing for this thing are pretty beefy. So it's just like that they're really speaking to a boutique audience at that point.
It does kind of feel like they might look towards third-party hardware manufacturers that would use the Xbox name and logo, as we've kind of speculated on that being an idea for them. Windows is really their platform that gets merged with gaming and Xbox. And while they'll make I don't want to say a baseline, a flagship system, if you will, they'll then allow kind of like video cards. Like Nvidia has their, just as an example, their Founders Edition card or whatever, their base card, and then they let Asus or MSI or whoever use the card, change some things around if they want, boost clocks, different memory configurations, and then they release it. So that kind of feels like what they might be doing here, and just working with partners like Asus and who knows, maybe Lenovo. Maybe it would be weird if there was a Dell Xbox.
It'd be
That'd be weird. But an Alienware Xbox where they put all the lights and stuff in there. I mean,
the green matches.
Hey, there's some stuff they could do, but it's gonna be a weird time. And I will tell you this: I'm a little concerned with the competitive side of things right now.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you'll have a PlayStation that is somewhat unchecked. I've said this before. Like they still have they're concerned with keeping people on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 6.
Yeah.
But to not have like something directly right next to them for maybe sort of the lower end goodwill gestures, that will be unchecked for sure.
I mean, this seems like it's going to be a podcast that's all over the place, Ryan. This is gonna be I'm sure you have all your list of stuff. It's going to be super informal.
We do have some.
We can just jump around because this is flowing nicely right now. We got to get a podcast going. I want to break it up with all kinds of randomness and bullet points and
you want to break it up or you don't want to break it up?
No. This is good because we're about to flip into next generation PS6, and I already know that's on your list.
Well, for sure, it's on the list. John.
It's already there. I already know
for sure. Well, now I gotta scroll. I gotta look for this news story.
Okay, you can scroll.
What do I got for next gen news?
Can I grab a couple of these super chats while you're looking?
I was gonna say fire some off.
Reese says, with emulation and PS3 controllers systems breaking down, do you worry about the value of collecting physical? PS, love this show. Happy my two favorites together. With emulation and PS3 controller systems breaking down, do you worry about the value of collecting physical?
With emulation and PS, well, like the maintaining hardware long term. So like just PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, there's like obviously the earliest failure point for anything is the biggest issue. So I mean, with PlayStation 3, what would the earliest failure point be? We're thinking about like a 50-something plus year timeline. Because the thing with like discs, for example, like this is often a misconception with physical media is that the disc rot is a thing. It's like, sure, that's a thing. There's been like actual studies from established institutions about how long physical media can last. There's CDs from the 80s that are still playing fine.
Yeah. Yep.
It's based on like relative humidity, temperature. There's certain elements that you can do to
that Sony gives us for their Blu-rays. It's like 25 years to like 150 years. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, that's because like I guess the earliest failure point could potentially be 20-something years, but that's if you keep it in like just like a pasty, humid, like terrible environment.
Sure.
There's like tables. I forget what institute did it, but if you keep like your relative humidity down to like, I guess, less than 50%,
Mm.
you're like tripling the lifespan of a disc, for example. So the media conceivably has 100+ years. The consoles really, that they would probably fail first, if anything
Yeah.
else.
Real Radic, shout out to Real Radic, was a good guest on the Spawncast recently, saying we got Halo on PS5 before the original Killzone trilogy. I know. Hey, you know what? I'll give Microsoft some credit. They probably saw an opening because Sony just forgot about Killzone. They're like, we'll put Halo there. There were there were comparisons back in the day though of Killzone and Halo. I would see it.
I was there, John. I was there.
Yeah.
What team? I was on Team Killzone. I mean,
you were like, crazy. Man, that Halo game looks good. I guess I'll settle for Killzone.
I was like, I really love this heavy feel of the bullets in Killzone too.
Talia says, Ryan, I'm looking to buy a PS3 since I missed that gen. Is there any hardware issues I should look out for when buying a system secondhand?
Depends on the PS3, obviously. Fat models are the big issue. The ones that are very desirable, the ones with PS2 compatibility. Those things are they're bound to fail eventually. It's just like a substrate and underfill issue with the CPU and GPUs. There's really no getting around that. You want to avoid PS3s with 90 nanometer cell and RSX. So typically something that is 65 or 45, those are going to be a lot better, or 40 rather. Those will be your slims. Slims, super slims, those will be pretty reliable. Although at this point, they're so old, pretty much every PS3 should get thermal paste, new thermal paste, and you'll be pretty much good to go.
And they say my father said he played Halo 1 in 9th grade. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yep.
Trying to I played a lot of Halo. Yeah, I played a lot of Halo in 9th, 10th. Yeah. Well, it was middle school too. 9th, and then Halo 2 came out in that might have been junior year. And then once the Xbox 360 came out, that was 05, 06. Yeah, I was at like middle school, high school. I was playing Halo. A lot of Halo. But people forget that generation was so short that Halo 1 came out in 2001, and then just a few years later we got Halo 2, and then a year, like the next year we got the 360. So it was like fast forward back then. It was quick.
Yeah, that console cycles were like 5 years back then, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it was like the original Xbox, 2001, 2005. Microsoft's ready to move. They're right to the 360. Let's do it. Andy Ackerman says, Team Ryan today, but only because Evan isn't here. The bar is low today. Andy Ackerman.
I'll take it.
Victor says, hey, Ryan, are you able to share the backstory of how you got to interview these two Halo developers? Hopefully you get, Shuhei Yoshida. Come on, Ryan. Much love.
There's no backstory. They reached out. It's somewhat typical in the business. I mean, if there's like a big thing coming up, sometimes certain publishers reach out. Sometimes you have to reach out. If there's PR relationships, it's how those things foster. In this case, they reached out to a lot of people, is my understanding. And so with this game shipping on PS5, I'm sure they were mindful of that for a channel like mine. But I do have more interviews coming up. Not Shuhei, unfortunately, but I do have one that's very cool that should show up in about 2 weeks. That's with implicit conversions.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Hey, got Halo Studios got you on speed dial now, Ryan. There's going to come to you for that. Maybe a multiplayer game coming up in a bit. That'll go on PlayStation. So, keep an eye out for apparently for Ryan's new Halo guy. So,
yeah. Wasn't necessarily trying to do that, but all right.
We'll have to get you that platinum trophy. Ben says, give us that sweet macroeconomic analysis, please.
Why is that so funny?
Kamutan says, a great show. Just wanted to mention that I've been in all of the marathon playtests and wanted to say, I think after some great improvements, the Bungie is finally onto something. I'm very excited. Oh, good. Yeah. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Yeah, I saw someone started streaming marathon randomly the other day. That's not a good idea. Yeah, because it does that thing, I think, where it has the number, your individual number on the screen, and then the stream disappeared. So
okay,
they might have got him. Ben says, today is a PS Xbox going to give it to you kind of day.
Oh, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
Iron Smasher says, thanks for streaming. Today I turned 24. Hey, happy birthday to Iron Smasher.
Happy birthday.
Truly Epic says, Halo themed PS5 when? The day I buy another PS5. That's when I would
How
have to
wild,
get. I'd have to get it. I'd be.
how
What am I
wild would it
supposed
be
to
if
do?
like if they did console covers on PlayStation Direct?
Oh, you know what? You know what? Here's what they'd do. They'd make the PS5 console covers Halo themed, but would not give me console covers for my PS5 Pro.
So it
It
had
would
to be
just be for
slim.
the. That's all they do because I
Yeah,
had the PS5 Pro here. The Slim's downstairs, so I would not look at the. I wouldn't see it much. It's
be
like
cool.
that sounds about right.
Be cool if they did those, and then like you bought like a D brand skin for the middle trim, and it's just like a reflective, that orange reflective.
Oh
Put
man,
that down the
that'd be
middle.
so cool. That'd be so cool if they just had to do the green plates. Oh, that would be awesome.
John over
They got
here.
to get on that. They got to get on that.
He loves it.
Yo, we're getting a Halo DualSense controller, right? Yeah. Can you imagine that,
A Halo
dude?
DualSense.
Oh man, I would need that because it'd be all green, of course, with like like the UNSC, like the etching and stuff
Yeah.
on it. And whenever I put in my charger back here, right there, it does a thing where it lights up orange when I set it down to start charging.
John sees orange. He's trying to figure out how he can shoehorn green in there.
That's how it works, though. That's what you need. Oh man,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Dude, I'd be all over that. I said I was done control. I was done buying. They pull me right back in if they make that happen. Man,
Did you buy that Walmart one? That
I
icon
didn't.
blue? You
I
didn't.
didn't. No, I didn't buy that one. I didn't buy that
John,
one.
I'm supposed to live vicariously through you.
I don't need that one. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I could go look see if they have it at Walmart, but I don't need that one.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
good.
Yeah, you do.
The Halo one though, we'll talk about that. Talk about
Mhm.
that. Illustrious says GTA 6 Xbox sales low unless play anywhere allowed. I don't think you're going to play anywhere because it's not going to be on PC day one, at least to our knowledge right now. I guess things can change, but it seems like that would be the following year. And even then, it's Rockstar. Take-Two. Dude, Take-Two knows what they have with GTA 6. They're not going to do play anywhere. You got to buy the thing like twice, 3 times.
Yeah, it ain't no way.
All right, there we go. Okay, we're good on the super chat. Shout out to people drop a super chat supporting. Appreciate it. All right, Ryan. Next gen systems.
PlayStation 6 news. We are still talking it up. I mean, really, there's only one super notable thing that happened within the last time that we did film, which is a new video on Tom's channel over on Moore's Law is Dead. Speaking with Dustin Furman from Last Stand Media, Tom says straight up he has documentation showing that they're manufacturing these consoles in the middle of, well, at least the middle or possibly early 2027. That's exactly when it will happen, and they've been planning this as early as 2 years ago. And that's on top of all the headlines that week where Kepler_L2 on NeoGAF was adamant that the plan is 2027. That was the headline everywhere. 2027 is the plan. It's kind of what we've been saying for a little bit now. I know it still falls back to the whole 2028 feels right. But again, like it's the 7-year cycle. That is still pretty standard, which that's standard for nowadays. Like what I just said before, but PS3 and under, or actually, yeah, PS2 and under generations were like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, super
It's
quick.
quick.
So, it's weird. Actually, I was thinking this the other day, John, because there's like a lot of talk on this generation and how it feels too soon. The whole COVID thing, games take forever to come out. It's a weird push and pull, I find, because if you look on an individual studio basis, you could definitely cherry pick certain teams where it's like there's a huge drought, 7 years and no game. We're going to go the whole cycle and they only ship one game on PS5, right? There's definitely those examples out there. On the other end of it, though, holistically speaking, there is so much damn shit to play. Games are coming out constantly.
Oh, no, there is. Yeah.
It depends on how you frame it. So I don't know. When it comes to the launch timing, like where do you sit on that?
In a way, what this generation does, and it's funny to say it, kind of remind me of the PS2, because while you can look back and see some, Sony published games and stuff on the PS2, man, that was a third party generation. There's a lot of the games people remember very fondly for the PS2 were just third party games. Like you think back on it, so it kind of feels like that for this generation a bit too, because Sony do their tentpole games. I mean, this year, even like Death Stranding 2, I know that's Kojima Productions, but it's very clear Sony had a hand in it too with them. And then Ghost of Yote that just came out. Those are the two big ones. They plaster up on the posters and stuff, or at retail. And like they even have bundles for what Ghost of Yote and the controllers and all that stuff. So, but then I think back to the PS2 compared to this generation, and it's like back then, third party stuff all over the place. People are excited about. Now, as you mentioned, a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of third party stuff, and the thing we are now with the PS5, like it's super obvious. It's just the default system for a lot of people. It's just like you say console, most people right now think PS5. And when you hear console, and it shows it in the sales, we see it. It's like so obvious when it comes up, where people throw around those VG charts things, and that's estimations from retail. So I don't take it as seriously, but when even the estimations are like, dude, it's like 8-1 for the week,
Well,
for the month, you go, wow, even though those are estimations and it's off a bit, if it was 4-1, that'd be bad. It's like, that's just where we are right now with the gaming and the hardware scene. And as you mentioned, people are saying it feels like it's too soon. And I think it feels like it's too soon because, I mean, people are happy with the visuals right now on their PS5. Maybe not always the performance. And sometimes we look to Unreal Engine for that being an issue. The performance is good. The visuals look good. And really, my PS5 Pro, 700 plus the disk drive is almost $800, right? So it wasn't cheap. But if I look at those visuals and that's just where we are, like it's not really going to look that much better beyond what we're seeing now, I kind of feel like I'm at peace with that. Okay. I look at Death Stranding 2 and I'm like, this game just looks really, really good. It doesn't get in the way. Like back in the day, the PS1 to the PS2 to me was a big shift because, get this, the characters had fingers all of a sudden. Is that because the blocky hands, that's all they had? They walked around like this. That got in the way. Exactly.
The oven mitts.
Or the oven mitts. But like the mouth wouldn't be able to move. Like there were clear limitations that got in the way of the more narrative presentation that you got with Metal Gear Solid 2 as an example, that came out, 2 years, 3 years, something, couple of years after Metal Gear Solid 1 came out. There was an obvious shift, big jump, and it played into the game and how it was presented. Whereas now we're zooming in, we're doing a lot of stuff to show how this new system will be better, I bet. And it's not going to be as obvious. And that's probably why people are like, I'm good. Mm-hmm. This is fine. And the jump from last gen was the SSD. People should go back and play a PS4 with a 5,400 RPM drive and then go, oh, wow, this load screen is like a minute and a half long. I forgot about that. Because you don't even think about it anymore. That's just how good the SSD has been for this generation. And now the developers are programming specifically for it. We see it even working into PC, and they just skip the load screens. They don't even program them in anymore. I'm trying to think of what the jump would be that would entice people other than it's more 4K. And that, I think, is the big challenge.
Well, John, you make a great point here because somebody else agrees with you. And that is former Sony boss Shuhei Yoshida. He was recently speaking on the Friends Per Second podcast, and when he was asked about the future of consoles and how he feels about them, he said PlayStation is interesting in that they always increase power. He said they cannot keep doing that, in his opinion, based off Moore's law leveling off. So he said he can't really tell the difference between ray traced or not, or really high frame rates unless it's right next to each other. He kind of also got into PlayStation leadership, how you've got a younger crew in there now. So the two CEOs, Hideaki Nishino and Herman Hulst, because they're much younger than the outgoing generation of PlayStation management. But he also was asked about what could Sony do for PlayStation 6, and he deflects a little bit, but he does say that he's really enjoyed PlayStation 5 because of the SSD. He called it a miracle for making almost every game better. Wholeheartedly agree. I always beat this drum with this console. For as much complaining as there's been for the game output and first party stuff, I was saying this in 2020. This thing is just great immediately because the load times are gone. Everything loads super fast. It's just, maybe it's a superficial thing, but I find the quality of life jump, like that alone was just really meaningful. And so when I think about next gen and also the sensory experiences of the DualSense and 3D audio, like they already acknowledge this, to be honest, in 2020, which is we can't just keep increasing power. So it's weird because like we have them speak very openly about this AMD Amethyst partnership and collaboration. And there's already things coming out of that. FSR4 basically is a byproduct of their collaboration. And that some of that tech's going to downstream into PSSR next year for PS5 Pro. There's still very technical things that they're talking about, ML and path tracing, ray tracing. I don't want to undermine that. I'm actually genuinely excited for PlayStation 6 and that it will have a DualSense Gen 2. Might have another iteration of 3D audio, the 3D audio tech engine. There are still sensory enhancements that might even be a big leap. Remember the first time you held a DualShock 4 after holding the DualSense? And you're like, oh my, this thing feels like crap now. It feels like a Fisher Price, feels like a Fisher Price toy. I wonder if that's what we'll think of the DualSense like that. Yeah, like
Probably.
yeah, it's like even when you're using like the triggers, right?
Mhm.
L2 and R2. And when they like engage, like you can hear that plastic
hear
like click. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's
and
like a clunk.
yeah, like and there's like refinements they can I think they can bring that controller to another level. So
Hmm.
there's avenues, you know. And when you've got former leadership saying this, yeah, it's pretty telling.
Can I give I want to give a shout out to Miss Click Gaming in the chat.
Oh, Miss
Good
Click.
to see her. Good to see her out here.
Welcome.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Haven't seen her in a while. Hope she's doing good.
Here's the thing though. You mentioned the SSD. A lot of people I think have even taken it for granted a bit now because you kind of forget, about the load screens. And what it plays into though is you're kind of describing the convenience factor. And I do wonder if that is becoming more and more of a maybe just an enticing element here, because people would look at just as the Switch, right? The Switch 1, when that got shown, Nintendo came off of just a beating of a generation with the Wii U. But the Switch was this convenient product. That's, oh, okay, well, I don't have to be next to the TV to play it, and I can take it with me. And like that it's a concept now that we look at as like, yeah, obviously that makes sense. Why wouldn't you do that? But it was such a new thing. The SSD is the same thing because it's been on PC. You know how long we've had SSDs in our PCs? And we're like, yeah, well, I'm not going to use a mechanical hard drive. But up to 2020, we were, for the most part, in consoles. Here comes the SSD. All of a sudden, the whole thing is just convenient now to jump into a game, jump out of one. That is what I think you should see Sony really try to figure out more and more and iterate on, because we're already expecting better visuals. That's not going to surprise anyone. But if you mentioned the activity cards, man, they forgot about those, right? And maybe it's just because
nobody
they weren't
used them.
but that's the thing. Maybe it's just because they weren't convenient enough. They need to think a bit more about how either they're presented or integrated in. I like the idea of being able to sit down in kind of maybe a busier lifestyle or whatever, and you have 15 minutes to play something. Many people, I'm sure, like, I'll just scroll on Twitter or TikTok instead, when it's like, no, you could actually jump in, get a mission done in Spider-Man 3 or whatever, and then jump back out because the SSD is faster. It's able to pick up where you left off once you turn the system on. The system startup is even faster this time. It happens immediately. Your TV doesn't even know what's going on. It like, your TV will turn on, like the system's already on and going. If it can figure that stuff out, I'm just thinking of ways they can make it feel even snappier, because that legitimately is something you notice if you go back to a PS4 right now. The system's just slow.
Yeah.
Just outright. So those are the things the nuanced things they should really think about. We're going to get better visuals. Frame rate should be better. All this stuff will work into it, but you got to think about the user experience and the convenience.
100%. Completely agree. I looked into that, like the initial, if you remember, like the road to PS5 discussion, and it was like very developer focused or whatever, but like there was like a big sales pitch there to studios at the time about what the console can do and what they hope their development partners will be able to do. And when they're like talking about the SSD and how that's going to sort of reinvent the wheel of game design, because in theory that SSD is basically like a secondary pool of RAM. That's how fast it's bringing stuff in. But he was like, saying semi-flashy things like maybe you could boot a game in a second. It's like that didn't happen. Some games with activity cards, and I've tested them, like Spider-Man could get down to like, I think 6-ish seconds.
Okay.
With an activity card, like from the card to gameplay, no splash screens. That was like really cool. Very few games ever got that quick, but it's like, man, I know it's like a flashy thing to say, boot the game in a second, but why not? Like iPhones and Android phones can launch software nearly within a second. and get you to whatever you need to look at. So in game software, not like just social media apps or something, but like that, I agree. Like I think that's where they should look to make it super
I,
convenient.
yeah, I like the idea of maybe in the system be able to predict what you're gonna play, even like just ways to turn the system on and have you in the game as soon as, like, there should be a state where it's almost fast startup to where the system turns on, you hear it beep, and then by the time the TV turns on, the game is on
Mm.
already. Even if you had to like cold shut down the whole thing, just ways to get you in and out of the game. And maybe that skips the splash screen at the beginning. It skips all the, the stuff that shows up, the credit, whatever they have to do. This presents, here's this engine we're using, whatever. It skips that and it just gets you into the game. So I think that is probably the next step. And then of course it working in tandem with this handheld that apparently they're going to do. And it just works into trying to fit into people's lifestyles, because that's the hardest part now. While we talk about the competition with consoles, it's like everything else. You got to compete with all these other ways of people are losing their attention. It's like, here's TikTok, here's Instagram, here's YouTube. It's everywhere. So phone games, even it's tough.
That was part of the problem solving they attempted with like activity cards. Like that small little thing where it's like you invoke the control center, see that activity card for the game, and it gives you that time estimate, because they want to like show you like, don't worry, like this is a 5-minute mission, this is a 20-minute mission, like you can play this right now. They really wanted to like reduce that friction as much as possible.
You know what? Something else they should really consider this, and I know they probably won't, because it would be a lot of work. They might want to revisit the idea of a social media platform on their PlayStation. I know, because they had it with home. They had it with home. It was like, I mean, it was a cool idea. Like one thing I really enjoyed, the idea of going to E3 from your house in home, that kind of stuff. That's a cool idea, but
it's cool.
The PS3, I just don't think was up to the task. And some of that was the hard drive. Even like, imagine this with the SSD. We've talked about this at length, but be able to load things in quickly, get around fast, and obviously the processing power they have now compared to back in 2006. But I do think that's a way that they can work out to try to keep people more and more on their platform. And then also they could do something that would be more meaningful with like a PlayStation Stars. I think just would have been way more interesting if they had something comparable to PlayStation Home alongside of it. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't. This is where I'd probably disagree. I just can't see them conceivably making that work. Like launching like a new social media platform today.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I think oftentimes it's better for a company to recognize when, like, we'll stay out of this. We know we'll fit our product into your life as best as we can, and not try and give you something that you're just not going to use. The most analogous thing I can think of is like modern vehicles. Some automakers are like, yeah, here's your Apple CarPlay, here's your Android Auto, and some of them are being stingy. No, you're going to use our in-car software that sucks ass. Like just stop. Don't butt against the customer. I think that's kind of the same thing here. I just don't attempt that. I think launching a new social media platform, something even remotely close to home, would be a very tough sell.
I'll be real with you. I would prefer that, because when I see somebody yelling about a game or complaining about it, I could see if they played it with their trophies.
It's weird you say played though. Like that's the thing about home. Like home was for like a very specific kind of person. It was not even remotely what they were pitching it as. Oh, you can jump in, meet up with your friends, launch games. That's not what it turned into. It turned in. Home was a thing that like people bought PS3s only for home. Like I remember this very well, which was you'd load into home. You could just like walk up to people and check their PSN profile, and it would bring up their little card. Dude, the trophy's home. Oh, really? Like that's no, level 1 home trophies. Level 1 home trophies. Dude, it fostered a very specific kind of person, and that's what home was at the end of the day.
it would have to be integrated into their like legitimately into the OS from day one. It would be something I think they'd go back and patchwork it. They'd have to commit to it immediately on launch. And I don't know that you're right. That's why I mean it'd be tough because they have to maintain it and they wouldn't be able to just kind of like, oh, we'll go we'll half step this thing. No, you gotta like you have to commit, both feet jumping in basically, or it
Yeah.
just wouldn't work. So you're right in that they probably wouldn't do it, but for how much attention these companies are all fighting each other for, I hate to say if you get people addicted to your social media platform, you kind of win. That's just what it is.
It's all timing too. I mean, there's always like a good time for something to
Right.
squeeze in and build an audience, but that's the thing. That's the thing about Sony. They're terrible at timing. They have experimented with so many like cool, interesting, novel concepts, but the timing's always like way too early, way too early.
Yeah.
Remote playing a PSP on PS3. Who they were onto something.
They were,
But
play Lair with a joystick.
Yeah, they do this stuff all the time, but it's always way too soon. Now we're still like on the next gen topic, John. It is funny you did briefly mention the handheld.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last week or so, we have some games that are now patched for that power saver mode.
Oh, I was looking for Mystic Ryan's take on this.
yeah, here's my take. Demon Souls, Death Stranding 1 and 2, and Days Gone Remastered. Right now, their patches are live. Sure enough, you turn power saver on, and you're looking at a 30 FPS game.
Interesting.
Resolution doesn't look bad on these games, though, John. Like it's kind of great. Like, have you messed with it yet?
No, I haven't.
Yes, like it's exactly what we were hearing. Like power's right down the middle. I mean, like base PS5s are like 210 something watts on the very high end.
Mm-hmm.
Demon Souls, like it was 90. Actually, Demon Souls I think is about 180 watts, so it gets it down to like 80, 90 watts or something.
Okay,
but it resolution looks like performance resolution. You just don't get 60. You get 30.
Sure. I mean, they'd have to lower obviously the wattage even further, but they wouldn't use that chip like the chips in the PS5. They'd use something much more efficient. That's interesting. They're able to cut the power down that much on, I mean, tech from probably a little before 2020 at this rate. So 6-year-old, 7-year-old tech. That is impressive, but it's so obvious. This is for the next gen.
Wait. Hold on. You're not going to wait. You don't want to save like $1 or so every year on your energy bills?
Yeah, no.
No? Are you sure? Because John, there's a green leaf. There's a leaf icon on the game. Yeah.
I think that's funny.
Yeah. So there's that. And then in settings, you can toggle each game. So now on my PlayStation 5, John, I have 4 games in there and I can toggle them if I want power saver mode or not. And then when you launch them, there's a little notification. Power saver games is supported.
I just don't.
If you use it for you're gonna get like you could probably buy like a McDonald's combo. That's how much you'll save. That's how much you'll save. In all seriousness, I'm surprised they look like not bad. It's just a frame rate cut, basically.
I just like how they're so adamant about playing this off as like saving the environment when it's still pulling almost 100 watts.
That's half though. Half's good.
I just like how they're this is definitely for it. Like we'll put the leaf on there. They'll never know. Meanwhile, everyone's like, this is for the handheld, right? How did you know?
It's interesting that we've got 4 first-party games. I mean, I'm not sure if this is like a mandate, but you have to think like SI corporates approaching all the studios, going like, "Can you get a patch out for this?"
Yeah, I think it's like, hey, here's a few of our games. This is how it's gonna work. You should do this too, just in case something comes out later that might use less power. I don't know. Just saying.
Yeah, that's the whole missing piece of like the next gen talk too. Like we always sometimes leave this out, but it's like there's handheld too that we might get.
Yeah, you're right.
That seems like the more I think we would both agree that seems like the more exciting product.
I mean, yeah, I was going to ask you, The PS6 or the PlayStation handheld? The new age. Which one are you more
Yeah,
excited about?
yeah. I mean, definitely the hand because it's
Handheld.
local play. Yeah,
Yes.
for
Yeah, the
sure.
handheld. It's just so much more interesting to see what Sony would do with a handheld like that, where we see these PC handhelds that are much less interested in the aesthetic and more about the functionality. Sony has that kind of a brain, and it kind of like Nintendo with the Switch too, where they were like, no, we're going to put this small battery in there and downclock the CPU because we want the thing to be skinny. We want it to be a thin device.
Yeah.
Sony would do that too, but they wouldn't do the thing where they have Joy-Cons or anything on the side. They would just make it a single piece, and it would probably just be, they might even make the screen smaller than the Switch too, because they're like, hey, we want this thing to borderline pocketable, So that's the thing. I'd be very curious to see what kind of aesthetics they would turn in, because it would certainly not be the PlayStation Portal look where they put handles on the sides.
Well, I'm not convinced that it would be like pocketable at all.
No,
I
well,
I think but I think they'll lean into like just the accepted norm of like you're playing on a focaccia bread, a piece of
do you consider the PlayStation Vita pocketable?
yes.
Dude, see, I don't know. I don't know. That screen,
I got it
it's
right
like,
here.
I don't
It's
know.
look at it. It's saying hi with the blue
Hold on.
light. He's ready to go.
Hold on. Pocketable in 2012 or pocketable now in 2025?
Pocket, look,
I don't know.
right now.
Hold on a minute. I had to see you at too many games walking around with this thing in this Vita.
Yeah, it's right
Oh,
there.
dude, come on.
It's pocketable.
Oh man,
It's pocketable, son.
Is it?
But that's the thing. So you think there's going to be something that's even remotely this size?
That size? No, it'll be bigger than that.
But I'm like remotely. Like I mean, I'm giving you some wiggle room. How much bigger do you think it's going to be beyond this?
I had a good handheld over here I could have shown that would have been good. Maybe a little larger than, there's like the Odin handhelds, maybe a little larger than those. And they're decently larger than what you're just holding up, but not as large as the Switch 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of where and it's one piece, but that's sort of what I'm thinking. I just feel like they don't want it to be like, they do care usually about the look of their products.
No, I mean,
So,
it would be thin. Like it would be an attractive, nice looking, like it wouldn't be a rug. It wouldn't be a deck. It wouldn't be this
no.
like thick, unwieldy thing. But like a screen size is like, that's what the market wants. Whether it's tablets, foldables, regular handsets, like it just keeps getting bigger. And anytime any OEM makes a smaller screen,
Yeah.
dude, that device always fails, or they discontinue it pretty quickly.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you rather have a 7-inch, 6.8-inch, some weird size screen, 6.8, 7-inch OLED, or an 8-inch LCD?
8-inch LCD.
Really?
Yeah, because like I think about even at 6 point, which is 6.8, 6.
Yeah, like how sometimes we'll hear like, oh, it's 6.8 inches because it's like a certain diagonal, so it matches the resolution.
Yeah, well, there's phones like that, and if you remote play to those screens, the games don't look good. Like it's UI and text elements, like it's not adjusted properly. You need the bigger screen. And if I would assume that we're going to have PlayStation 6 on this handheld launch, it's single executables. Like it's just a PS6 whatever game, and it launches on both. Like there would I would assume there's no profile that, maybe there would be a profile that just sizes text correctly. But I'm just thinking about like if I remote play a game to that screen size now, I would not like that.
Well, I assume they would go for 1080p, so you would want a larger screen for that. If it was 720p, even 800p, you could deal with like the Steam Deck has as an example. But yeah, I mean, the 8-inch display would make the most sense right now. And the screen is typically what these companies try to save on, like LCD would make the most sense. They'd be able to lean into VRR and higher refresh rate easily that way. And OLED would be more difficult, more expensive. I'm kind of thinking they want this thing to be in that $500 to $600 range.
Well, it's like OLED can always be on the roadmap.
Yeah,
I mean, almost certainly that would be something like here's the LCD regular variant that comes out, and that's your only option. And then 2 years down the road, when the SoC isn't nearly as expensive, we'll throw an OLED on this thing and get the same MSRP or more out of it.
Yeah,
maybe that's what they would do. I don't know.
I can see that.
It's been nice though playing on the OLED again. Looks pretty.
Yeah, no, it does. It
Like
does.
those true blacks. Yeah.
Came out in 2011.
It did actually, yeah, right at the tail end before 2012.
Yep. It's an old device, but it has OLED.
What else I got for you, John? Yeah, it's a lot of the actual next gen stuff that's really going on here. Got some of our smaller stories though. Got the PS Plus Extra October lineup that's live right now. Silent Hill 2, Until Dawn, As Dusk Falls, V Rising, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Poppy Playtime, and Wizard with a Gun. That's on Extra. PS Plus Premium, Tekken 3. There was supposed to be Tomb Raider Anniversary. It looks like that was delayed to next month.
Yeah, it was
I did.
weird. Oh,
I did boot. I booted up Tekken 3.
How'd it look?
It's good. Yeah, I love it. I love that game. It's good.
Does it have a trophy list and everything?
No. I can tell you all right now, the reason why that happens is because the publisher doesn't want to pay for it.
Oh.
You will hear this. You'll hear this in my implicit interview, but the answer right here is like it's just like a cost, and Capcom doesn't want to pay for it.
Well,
or Capcom. Well, depending on the publisher, certain games you can expect that they're probably not paying for it.
It's Bandai.
Yeah. I was thinking it was because a lot of the Capcom ones, every one of them have not had trophies. But same with Bandai.
I was saving you from the chat.
I know. I was like, who the fuck publishes Tekken? But Capcom games don't have them either.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, you're right.
Yeah, those were the initial ones. No, actually, yeah, because Mr. Driller didn't have them. Tekken 2 didn't have them. So it was Bandai Namco and Capcom both did not want to pay for them.
How much it costs? Jeez, if it's like make or break for them, like nah.
It's something that it'll show up in the interview. It's a fascinating business.
Okay.
There's a lot that goes into bringing those games back. So, but the long and short of it for trophies is that they're just not paying for it. We have 8 games, I think, that are leaving PS Plus Extra and Premium on November 18th. So this is a little PSA for the chat. Everybody listening, you have about 30 days left to play Alternate Jake Hunter Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz, Battlefield 5, Digimon Survive, Football Manager 2024 console, Like a Dragon Ishin, Synapse, and Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes.
All right.
This first game was crazy. What the hell is this? Alternate Jake Hunter Daedalus, The Awakening of Golden Jazz. What is that?
I don't know.
All right.
I will say the list though, for because you went back to Silent Hill 2 and Until Dawn. Remember we talked about Until Dawn. I thought about it. I'm like, I don't know. Am I gonna check that out? Now here it is. PlayStation.
Yeah. Plus. I was gonna say Extra is this is like the best month for PS Plus in my opinion, like in a long time. Essential's got Alan Wake 2, then Extra's got Silent Hill 2, Until Dawn, and they're all like on theme with Halloween.
Yes, it's a very good month for it. Yeah, I mean, there's easy recommendations in there for people to check out. So maybe I'll download Until Dawn and just take a look. I mean, I'll probably just check it out and then be done with it, just because there's so much stuff I'm playing right now. So
yeah. Let's move on to a new feature that showed up on the PlayStation Store very recently. Game pages now show the lowest price for a game in the last 30 days. So a lot of people pointed this out. It's right below the star rating. It only shows up if the game is actively on sale. So it gives you a benchmark of this game's on sale, this is the lowest price or not. Some people were also theorizing this was in compliance with the EU price indication.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, but it's weird because I thought that went into effect like years ago. So it's like, why
is it one of those things where it went into effect, but it was like if you have an online eShop or digital storefront, you have so many years before you have to make sure it's there, and they were getting towards the end. Oh yeah, we got to do that. Let's go and make it live. That's fine.
It could be. I was going to say, like, you'd think this is cool. It's really not. 30 days. You're not. How often is a game going on sale within like that many times within 30 days?
Right.
Like I was looking through the PlayStation Store and I was going through the recent sale that they have. Dude, like 99% of the games I checked, it just showed the same price because it's like that's the only time the game's been on sale. So it's really not that useful. I would
Well, it's because
recommend.
you only buy these games from one place.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but the time range would be better. Like if it
mhm,
was a year, like the lowest price in the
sure.
last year. Yeah. So I was gonna say, like, I recommend if people don't do this already, there's like a few websites that just scrape the data off PSN, and
Mhm.
they'll show you like the lifetime lowest sale. So
Yep.
it's cool to have it on the store, but it's not really that useful. We have new PS5 firmware that came out, and this one, John, actually does something.
Mm.
I don't know if you know this 25.07, 12.20. It's available right now, and you can use your console in system settings to check its own serial number.
That was bugging me the other day too. I was like, man, we need that firmware update so I can see the serial number in the settings.
But wait, there's more.
Mhm.
You can also check the serial number of a DualSense. No longer do you have to manually pick up your controller and turn it around. No longer must you have to unplug your console and look behind it. You can just
Aren't you
do it
already
on.
holding? You're already holding your controller to press some buttons though to do it.
Yeah, it's weird. The only time you're doing this is like if you're talking to PlayStation support.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if you
true.
do like a warranty claim, like it's not. I mean, it's cool, but yeah, that's in this firmware. Also, stability, usability, messages on some screens. Also, a new update for DualSense Edge. So not much going on there. I mentioned this on LTPS, but like I think we sort of always forget that this console is 5 years old. We're
Mhm.
2 years away from PS6. I think the console is done getting major updates.
Oh, you think
Like
you think like OS level, UI, whatever, anything major?
I would because like the software team is probably full steam ahead on
That's true.
PlayStation. Yeah, like I and this was around the time PS4 really wasn't getting anything big. So
Yeah, I
I
wonder what else would they I'm trying to figure out what else they'd really do that
I mean
would change it
like
in a meaningful
themes,
way.
people want
Themes,
themes, but
obviously,
they're not
but
going to do that. Yeah,
they like the advertising space, okay? They're not messing with it with themes, all right?
there's no advertising space. It's key art. Games get all the
Sorry.
key. Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna say. The commercial comes on, look at that key art in motion.
I think it's nice. I like it. Not for everybody, but
Mm,
I don't think it's coming.
mm.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we've got some Ghost of Yotei news. The game obviously has been out for quite a bit, so there's a few things going on in the aftermath. Don't have any hard sales data, but we've had some initial figures come out of like Famitsu, for example, sold 120,000 physical copies in Japan during the launch week. That fell down to 26,000 on week 2. For context, Tsushima sold 200,000 physical copies during its launch week. Of course, that's a 5-year difference. One was right at the tail end of PS4 and COVID and everything. And there's 5 years of the digital ratio building up. So we have that from Famitsu. In the EU, we did hear that Yote debuted at number 2 on the charts. EA Sports FC 26 just barely beat it. But Matt Piscatella from Circana was saying that for US sales, where it was ranking, it was like pretty much flat with Tsushima, which is a good thing, obviously, because Tsushima
Mhm.
did well. This game is $70, so it costs more. So it seems like the game, for the most part, doing reasonably well. Good to
Yeah, I
see
saw
that.
it. I saw it rank number 4 on the Circana report in the US after 2 days of tracking, and the
Mhm.
tracking started like August 31st. So it was like the one day in August, all of September, and 4 days in October getting thrown into a pile, and it came out in the 4th spot. That seems pretty good. The the game itself, as you mentioned, selling alongside of Tsushima. I mean, you play the game, and they definitely the reason because they mentioned their budget was around what
About the
Tsushima
same.
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you play the game, you can say like they reused assets and animations as you would expect with a sequel in line like this. So it starts to kind of make sense how they got that budget where it is right now. But that just tells me that they're going to make a bunch of money on this game. Like Sucker Punch is going to turn in another profitable venture for Sony, probably by hundreds of millions of dollars. Because if it's, I see estimates going around right now of like 2.5 million or something is what
Mhm.
it's sold right as of like a few days ago or something, right? And that's fine after 3 weeks or so. And it's going to have the holiday season. This is very clearly one of the big games that Sony's putting alongside of it. I think it'll do well in the long run, sell a bunch of copies. And I did beat it. It is done. And
Okay.
I'm working to the platinum trophy, so that'll tell you how I feel about it.
You're gonna do that.
Yes.
John, you don't normally do
I know.
this.
That should tell you something. I should tell you something. So when I beat the game, I looked and I had 74% of the trophies.
Naturally. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, naturally. So I was like,
Hmm.
oh, let me
So
take a look at what I need.
that's why you're doing, because you only ever do this if it just gives you most of them.
Yeah.
That's where your actual mind's eye of platinum came from. And I have that context now, John.
Yep.
It's basically
I needed 2 trophies.
it's basically a gold path run. So
Yep. Yep. So,
yeah.
but it was kind of like Ratchet and Clank is very similar to where you get to the end and it's like, oh, you need 2 trophies, 3 trophies, something. Oh, okay. This one I still need like 10 trophies or something, but they're trophies that I'm 3/4 away done because it's open world game, and when you played Tsushima, there's a bamboo strikes you need to go find. There's
Yep.
hot springs you need to go, that kind of thing, right? Those pile up and you do bounties or whatever. So I'm looking at the list and I go, okay, this doesn't seem that bad to wrap up. So I think this is like for me 50-ish hour platinum.
Okay.
I'm 43 or 44 hours in right now. I think I'll have the platinum wrapped up in the next 6 or 7 hours in the game.
Wow. Not bad. Not bad. I'm feeling overwhelmed right now because when I get out of this challenge,
Mhm,
I'm not sure. Like I naturally I want to jump into Yote, but it's like,
mhm.
dude, like Once Upon a Katamari just came out.
I
Like
saw that. I
I
was like,
know
"Oh,
it's
there's Ryan's game. I should play that so that I can tell Ryan how awesome it is, even if I don't think it's very good while he's
dude,
doing his platinum thing."
that's just like diabolical behavior from you. It's just a play something I love dearly. I don't know. Yeah, like that just came out. Like I've got my Legends EA copy too. It's like I'm still a big Pokemon person, so I that's on the back burner.
I put like 6 hours into that so far.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It's I've said before I'm not the biggest like Pokemon fan anymore. I was a much bigger Pokemon fan back in the day, obviously, with the
yeah.
the late 90s, early 2000s, and to me it's still there's really only 250 Pokemon. So that's kind of where it ends for me. But it's all right. Okay, so
Mm.
far. I don't know. People are fighting over it, and I'm like, this is very fine. Like the game.
Listen,
It's a Warzone online, and I'm like, this game is okay.
the franchise is best enjoyed in complete isolation, and I say that with complete.
It kind of
I
is actually.
I
Looking
say that
online.
with complete sincerity. If I'm scrolling, if I'm doom scrolling and I see I don't want to see it. I don't want
The
to be
other
a part
day,
of it.
the other day I played Pokemon Legends ZA for an hour, then went right into Ghost of Yote for like 2 hours. X probably about to send like Agent 47 to my house or something. It was over. That was gonna be it.
Oh
Playing
god.
these video games, we got to take care of this.
How dare this man enjoy things.
Oh, I did see this pop up. Victor asked if I'd beaten Ninja Gaiden 4, if so, he platinum. I am in chapter 11, so I believe I'm halfway, a little more than halfway through or halfway through the game. I put it on pause as I was doing some benchmarking with a PC that I was looking at, but I am going to try to have that finished next week, Ninja Gaiden 4. I'm playing on Xbox right now, so I might want to get it physically on the PlayStation this holiday because it's all on the disc.
It's on the disc.
So
It's not on the disc?
hmm.
Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
I mean, guys, what the fuck are we doing here?
Oblivion remastered
One
isn't either.
one point that's even here's the weird thing about that, right? It's
Mhm.
obviously well after the digital release, but the game is like 120 something gigs.
Yeah.
They're not paying for the other disc.
Mm,
They're not going to pay for 2 discs. They're not.
yeah, I guess somebody loaded up as like 318 megabytes on the disc.
I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Put a gold master on it.
What a shame.
Stupid. Ugh.
Oh, Talia says follow up to my PS3 question. What is a fair price for PS3 systems these days?
I think the last time I checked, you can get a slim for like definitely under 100. No doubt about that. Super slims, I think probably the same neighborhood. I mean, just float around. The thing I always recommend is anything that you're looking for, look up on eBay, but sort it by sold completed listings. Don't look up the ones that are for sale. Look up the ones that are sold. That way, like this is really what they go for.
I'll also say if you're on eBay looking and you see all the pictures that they have, make sure that they've taken pictures of wherever the warranty seal is so you can check if that warranty seal is still intact. Because if it's not there, then there are a whole bunch of questions that get opened up then, like as in, why is that not, did you open the system to modify it, to attempt to change the compound, and maybe you didn't do it so well, and now the thing's going to break down in a few months. I would prefer to get a system that's never been opened if I can help it, unless they have a really good explanation, because let's say it has a different shell on it or something. Oh, we changed the shell for customization purposes. You know what you're getting into. If that warranty sticker is not there, I'd almost be inclined to tell you to move on from that listing.
It's a good point. Solid point.
Superman says, if I play new Halo, I think about old Halo whole time. If I play new Halo, I mean, that's the idea. It's a remake. It's just to make you think about the old one and the glory days before adulthood and the world just beating you down for decades. I mean, that's just, is that not nostalgia? That's nostalgia, man.
Christ, let me enjoy my rose-tinted glasses in peace.
Never. This is the internet and social media.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah. We got more Ghost of Yote stuff going on, more Sucker Punch adjacent news. Sucker Punch recently was reiterating, John, if you didn't know, they're a one game at a time studio. Speaking with Video Gamer, the studio head and co-founder Brian Fleming gave an answer about what they will do next after Yote's Legends mode. Quote, whatever we do next, whether it's continuing Ghost or going back to Sly, the decision is really more limited by, again, our cherishing of focus and time to iterate. What that means we can really do, which means that what we can really do is one thing at a time. Now, I should also point out that Brian said even further here, and I quote, if we were good at juggling 4 projects, yeah, we'd have a remaster. And let's go do one of those and do some fan requests. That would be really popular, but we only get to do one thing. So you kind of have to pick your best idea, right? And that's really clarifying. It's not like there aren't 15 good ideas, but you only get to do one. And by the way, you only get to do one about every 5 years. So that choice is really important. End quote. Sucker Punch has historically always been a one game at a time studio. So the missing thing here is like, and Brian can't say this, like if we're talking remasters, maybe even sequels to older things, SI could contract that out, give it to a different studio. Yep. So he's not saying that. He's just saying the way that this team is structured, they're going to stick to one game at a time, which is, I think, fine for them. If it works for him, it works for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I still think there's room for an Infamous remaster of the first 2, move it over to the newer systems and put it on PC. I think that would make sense, but that's not something Sucker Punch should be doing themselves then. You know, they should be, at this point, with Ghost of Yote done, I'm kind of thinking Sucker Punch is time to move on to something new.
That's the question mark too, right? For a lot of these teams that like established a new big thing, late life cycle PS4. They've got their sequels out on PS5. So a lot of them are doing that third thing. It's like, yes. Well, Insomniac, we know Spider-Man 3. Guerrilla, we know Horizon 3. Some of them, though, it's like, maybe we want to see them reinvent it.
Yeah, I think at this time, they'd have to do something really crazy with the Ghost formula. And I don't think they go another, 100 years in the future. I think they have to just do something different. And maybe it is a new IP. I mean, some were saying go back to Sly Cooper. I just don't think that makes sense.
It's not happening.
It doesn't make sense for them. Just because as cool as it look, I would be annoyed or I just go, that's cool. It's probably going to sell like 2 million copies or something. And for Sucker Punch, their bar has now been set after something like Tsushima, I think, to where they go, we're a studio that should be able to make a game that sells 5 million units like minimum every time. So they have to kind of think that way. And I'm not sure what's next for them, but they definitely have the talent to, I think, do whatever they want. So
indeed. In fact, it seems like they might also be considering Yote DLC. Speaking with Game Informer, we have Sucker Punch's Jason Cannell that said that if people similar to Tsushima, if they really like Atsu's character and her story, then they'll consider something. Quote, certainly we love Atsu and we think it's a great character. And just like with Jin, if there's room to improve it or bring some new elements to life or clarity for the narrative's sake, and it falls within what is best for Sucker Punch, then we'll certainly take a hard look at that for sure. End quote.
The obvious thing here is they should do DLC because they're going to do a PS6 version of this game.
Director's cut.
Exactly. And that's
Yep.
usually what they would do, right? Is put some kind of extra content with it, even. So if they're already like, hey, we're going to do PS6 for this thing, re-release it like we did with the, Tsushima on the PS5. We think right now we're within 2 years of the PS6 launch. You may as well. And then with that, you have because Legends we think is next year at some point. By the time that comes out, we might be a year and a half from the PS6 launch.
Mm.
So you may as well. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. It's like, why not? Why not go ahead and do a PS6 director's cut with DLC, cash in on the game again, sell a bunch more copies, but also still, I would have to figure working on your next game, which is going to be a PS6 game.
I just would have thought like it seems like it's a very consistent thing where all PS studios just there's a lot of post-launch support for these games. Whether it's paid for or not, like maybe sometimes it's like Valhalla. They just give it to you.
Mhm.
Or the Tower of Sisyphus and Returnal. But like all the teams like have been pretty diligent in updating their single player games. So I would just off that merit alone, I'd be surprised if they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think there's still money. They sell DLC as well, obviously, but I think there'd be some extra money made if they wanted to. Or hey, maybe they see it as, you know what, another release means we'll just sell more copies, so we'll just give it to
True.
them. You know.
Now let's move on to a studio that has not made a game in a while, Blue Point Games. John, they're hiring for a third-person melee action game. There's
Saw
a
that.
new job posting. They're looking for a senior combat designer, and under minimum qualifications, they're seeking, quote, solid understanding of combat systems and mechanics for third-person melee action experiences. What do we think?
You think they're remaking a game, or you think they're doing a new one? I went to a
I
remake immediately.
you know what? I'm actually inclined to say that they are just working with Santa Monica right now. That's
kind
because
of what.
that's what they were doing. Like when they were acquired, and that comment they gave when they were acquired was like, we're working on original content. They were not lying because they were working on Ragnarok. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like they were working on Ragnarok at a certain point after they like really wrapped that up. Then they did this like God of War live service thing, but like original content fit within that like narrow, like very defined language.
Mhm.
So like I know it's easy to look at this and go, oh, wait a minute. Souls game? Maybe your own God of War? Maybe you're remaking something else. But I would almost think like the immediate dust settling here is, well, we're just put back on Santa Monica for now.
I kind of think I think Radic is. I think it's a God of War remake.
You think so?
I kind of think it is. It's just wild speculation at this point. But man, that would sell. It would get Blue Point back on track, and it would keep them working with Sony Santa Monica.
That's the thing is I feel like they're in a position of when they're ready to pitch their whatever the next thing that they are going to do, they got to pitch something very safe.
Yeah.
So if they feel inclined, like maybe that's the route we'll go, then if it was that, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be.
It would sell. I mean, I'm not. It's not easy because you got to remake a game, but
Yeah.
it's easier for them because they know what they're doing. They've done it so many times. And I say it's easy because they're already one foot in the door with the IP. People know God of War. They like God of War. They want to buy it, so it seems like a kind of a pretty good match for them to do that and still work with Sony Santa Monica, who it's kind of like, so they got knocked down a bit with that, the cancellation and stuff. You keep them even with one of your top studios in Sony Santa Monica, so they can just continue to learn, with them. And maybe that's the move. You get them with this remake, get that confidence back up, and then they could take another shot at something new. Although I think they really are just I'm sure they want to try something new, but they were kind of bought as you're going to remake stuff. I mean,
John, I would disagree.
really,
Because
I don't know.
the content that they wouldn't agree to being acquired if they didn't get the terms they want. Like it was that was the language was we're going to do original content now. That was when they were acquired. I would think they wanted to get into the family, understanding that they have that symbiotic relationship of we get to start pitching whatever we want to do. But again, like if it goes back to a remake, that wouldn't surprise me even remotely. I will say though, God of War 1, like it's weird because when PS Studios Visual Arts started doing initially that was like an Uncharted 1 remake,
Mhm.
then it moved over to Last of Us. Because allegedly when Herman took over for PS Studios, he looked at the Uncharted 1 remake and said, "Why is this costing so much money?" Because like they would have to touch it up more versus a 2013
Right.
game. So this
Mhm.
for a PS2 game and you're going to remake that, I would think that maybe that's going to be even more expensive. So
It would be. It would be,
hard
but
to say.
it is kind of that safe bet of it's God of War, and it's this is the largest the IP's ever been right now. If you just look at the sales and the trends, they could you could put several millions of dollars into it, and it would, I think, still make money.
Mhm.
So
It would.
I
It
mean, it
would.
also depends on how much further they go with it. Maybe they say, "Hey, we can work with Sony Santa Monica and add in extra content and do some stuff that maybe they scrapped during development and put it into the game." And there are some things they can do, and it would make it more of a standalone title. That would be. I mean, look, God of War fans would buy it immediately. Like that's pretty obvious. But maybe they'd even be able to pull in more people because, oh wait, this is the first God of War.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't have to play God of War, 2018 when he's old now, and I don't know what happened here. But this is the first one, and that does, I think, have a bearing at times on the market. Of you see a number next to something, you're like, I don't know if do I need to go. I gotta play the old one. That's on the PS2. I don't, or no, there's PS3. Oh, I don't have PS3. So they start thinking about how they can do it, and it's
It was weird though. Like what? So what would they call it? Because it's you've got God of War 2018,
that's
and
true.
then you got to like
I
give it
don't
like a
know.
you got
You
to
could do
like
one of those PSP. Remember the PSP ones had like the
yeah, but
little
like if you say
subtitles to it.
yeah, but it's like if you do that, then that gets lost in the sauce. You call it God of War Origins. You're like, oh, the Origins collection on PS3. No, no, no. Like Origins 2026 for PS5. Like yeah, so
That's a good point. I don't
they
know.
I mean their naming convention wouldn't stop them. I just think it's funny to propose that, but
Hmm.
if they remade God of War 1, that would probably sell substantially more than God of War 1 ever did. There's
Yeah.
probably a lot of upside to doing that.
Well, people keep asking about that collection. We even talked about, hey, they should port that collection over to the PS5 because you only play through streaming. And then
Yeah.
we find out through the leak through Insomniac that one of the internal charts or whatever was, hey, the most streamed game is God of War 1 and 2, basically, on the service.
Yeah, but it's like you don't have context on what that number even is. Most streamed, but maybe the most streamed is still like a fraction of total users.
Oh yeah. But it shows there was interest even from people who had the premium service or whatever. I want to check out these old God of War games.
It's weird. They just seem to have no interest in doing like just standard frame rate resolution bumps. Like just straight up
Yeah,
port a game over. Like they just don't want to do it. There's just no value in it for them.
it is
Weird.
interesting. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's something that would make sense, as you mentioned before, like new hires coming in looking for experience, and let's put them on something that's not, hey, build a new IP from scratch. No, take this game, port it over with a team, touch it up as you mentioned, and we'll release it at a more budget friendly price. That, I don't know. It seems like that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for onboarding, but there just seems to be no interest in it.
God of War 1 on the PS2. I have the number 4.6 million. Does that sound right?
Well, I know it was millions, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like
4.6 million.
well, it was never 10 plus. It was never that.
No,
But
but that's what I mean.
yeah,
It seems like that would be a
four
number
sounds
they'd
about
be
right.
able to beat.
Oh yeah, I think they'd easily beat that. It like a high
Yeah.
fidelity God of War 1 remake, yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yep.
San Diego studio, John, they are hiring for a senior graphics PC programmer for a AAA PC title. Probably
Who
MLB.
is that? Who is that?
San Diego.
Oh yeah, it's MLB. Yeah, MLB
Yeah,
show. Yeah.
it's MLB.
I was a little. It's funny to think they haven't done that yet because, dude, there is like no simulation baseball game on PC.
Yeah, it's MLB.
Yeah, I mean, I assume next year it's going to be on PC.
Hmm.
Yeah, and look, I mean, MLB themselves probably want it on PC, so it's kind of similar situation to Xbox and Switch. I mean, this is the least surprising out of all of it, right?
Yeah, that's think it's kind of a read it out loud, then move on kind of thing.
But did you consider what Emil says here, asking if you need a third to join the GTA 4 News Grind sessions to rank 10 with Ryan, and you and Emil running that?
Thank you for the super chat.
Oh man. Hey, if it gets that remaster, you think that trophy's going to be in there still?
It's not, because there's not going to be online, John. They'll just do the campaign. I'm never noosing again. Never.
Detroit says, do you think remaining Halo rolls out through PS6? I think whenever a new Halo comes out, it's going on PlayStation, and that'll be up to PS6. So, yep. Yeah. They are PlayStation full speed ahead over there. They had the community manager there wearing a PlayStation shirt on camera on the stage.
Hey, times are changing. They're a big publisher on PlayStation. Let's get into this, John. Let's get into this. We got a big response here. Big response from Sony to Tencent's dismissal. They attempted to dismiss this lawsuit. So there was a new 35-page filing that went live last week, obtained by the Game Post, and Sony is asking the court to reject Tencent's nonsense attempt at getting the lawsuit thrown out. They're also saying that Tencent is playing a shell game by trying to protect itself of liability with, and to explain all this, the Light of Mataram game, the Horizon ripoff. So they're accusing them of using shell companies to protect itself of liability with all these different subsidiaries. They argue that Tencent Holdings at the highest level are the ones that own the domain and U.S. trademarks for Light of Mataram, and they're the ones who recognize the revenue. They also directly call out that they delayed their game to 2027 and how they changed the key art on the Steam page. They then went on to claim that that doesn't make SIE's own claim any less ripe, and they stand firm and call the response nonsense, and they say, quote, the damage is done and it continues. These are fighting words, John.
They got shell companies involved here? My gosh.
Sony then makes some points about the same things. There's bringing up all these like screenshots from the press and fans calling this game a knockoff, but they also get very particular about Aloy as a character. Her distinctive features make her not just a main character, but a brand symbol that's synonymous with PlayStation. So all this is to say they want to deny their motion to dismiss. And if the complaint is unclear, they want permission to amend the filing, go right to discovery. That means depositions, document requests, things like that. And they also filed a preliminary injunction as well. They're looking to just straight up stop this game from coming out.
Right, just as it stands now. I mean, Tencent, I'm sure, could pull it back in and change everything about it, and then release it. Because when you see the game being played, it does not look like a Horizon game, other than just the aesthetic. So
the actual gameplay, it's like a crazy crafting MMO looking game.
Yeah, so they would have to change just about everything else above like the wireframe, really. But that's the funny thing, is that Tencent's going through all of this after we hear that they approached Sony with a pitch for a Horizon game, and Sony said no, and then they show up with this. And to me, that's like the most obvious connect the dots that I've seen. So I have to, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen because I'm not a lawyer, but it looks obvious to me and pretty clear cut. So I assume it will be, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Is it just in the US that it would be stopped? Can it be released in other countries, or
this is where we get into territory where
not sure.
We most certainly wouldn't know.
I do like that they're pulling tweets and stuff from people online to prove their point. That is funny.
Yeah, well, that's evidence.
You should have made a crazy tweet about it, Ryan. You would have been in Sony's filings.
I'm a little offended. You tell me I didn't show up in this court filing? It's crazy. No screenshot of LTPS in there? Come on. We did get a crazy revelation, though, from this filing. This is the cool thing about these court cases, John, because they have to put things in there that they otherwise don't want to talk about. So part of the filing was that we learned Sony was visiting China looking for mobile partnerships. And they included a declaration here from the head of PlayStation Studios Mobile, Olivier Courtemanche. And we learned that they did visit Tencent and their studios, and that includes Aurora Studios. That's the one that's making Light of Mataram. So anyway, we have a timetable of events here. Sony was pitched 2 times on this game. one at DICE in Las Vegas, another at GDC 2024, and these were for the Horizon mobile game. And they rejected that via email on April 8th, 2024. On May 16th, 2024, they responded saying that their team didn't want to work on anything other than Horizon, and they were passionate about making this game, which was codenamed Project Z at the time.
Mm.
In July 2024, the PS Studios mobile team went to China to meet with Tencent and Aurora, and that was under the assumption that they would be discussing a potential deal for The Last of Us. But instead, they went there. I guess what happened was they thought they were going there to talk about The Last of Us mobile, and they were showing this Project Z game again. Like they were showing the Horizon thing like a third time. And they were I guess really confused by that. So the revelation is that oh, okay, they were looking at Last of Us mobile.
There's a Last of Us mobile.
Yeah, but it's but there's a rug pull where it's it's almost like a timeshare thing.
Right.
No, we really want you to hear this time. We really think you should consider this.
Last of Us mobile. What do you think that would have looked like?
I have no idea because I feel like the property is just way too boutique. To throw it on mobile, I can't even wrap my head around what that looks like.
We still don't even know really what Sony's mobile strategy looks like right now.
It's a mess. There's nothing to show for it. Nothing.
Huge audience there, to huge market. You assume big opportunity, and they can't seem to get it started.
I mean, they're on the right track. I mean, I would think that's what you do is site visit studios in China. They know what they're doing with mobile.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you would assume that they'd be trying to get a Horizon mobile game going.
Well, that's Ubisoft.
Really, but really going for their movie coming up. So that's in the works, but we're still waiting.
That was also in the filing. That Horizon movie, they want to start shooting that next year.
Yep.
And release it 2027.
Yep.
No director.
Mm. I mean, Horizon, I think, will adapt well to a big screen. So
I agree. We have more news for this time Arrowhead. Arrowhead's next game is a new IP. Spotted by Tech for Gamers, Arrowhead Studios has a new job listing on their site for a senior system designer, and this is the first job posting that does say specifically that they would be working on Arrowhead's new IP. They call it a new co-op action game, and prospective hires will be there to help build it from the beginning. It's important to remember with Arrowhead that they were pretty open about this. They want to self-fund and self-publish. So this will very likely not be a PlayStation Studios game, but that's what Arrowhead's going to be getting up to now.
I mean, it sounds like they're going to do something similar to Helldivers 2, and that it's going to be a PvE game, I guess, then.
Probably. I mean, I think they'd want to stick within their wheelhouse, what they're good at.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to look... I mean, it's got to be way different looking than Helldivers 2, I assume. I don't think it's going to be the same even tone or setting or anything like that. So I'm wondering if they do they go fantasy just to try to be completely different, or I'm not sure.
I don't know, but good for them. That's the whole point. Make money.
Yeah.
See if you can do it yourself. Moving on to some hardware news, we have that updated PS5 Pro model and also this DualSense version 3 that we were hearing about. That was a report from ppe.pl. So we had an unboxing done by Austin Evans for CFI 7121. The console looks pretty much identical. They didn't change that middle glossy strip, so it's still a glossy black plastic. Exterior, it's the exact same. What's weird is that report from ppe.pl, they said, oh, this console uses 3% less power, which is so negligible. But when Austin tested this, it does indeed use 3% less power. So there's that. Nothing too crazy. It weighs 90 grams less. He did look at the new DualSense. It's got a new model number. So if that's the new V3, we don't necessarily know, but it's a new model number. And it looks like a DualSense. Nothing really all that different. The internals are different, but there's not, that's I think what we were talking about before. It's it's kind of already in compliance with that EU regulation coming up because you don't need proprietary tools to open it. So that rumor for the removable battery, it's hard to say if that was really going to end up happening.
I did get some of those. There are batteries that you can buy on places like Amazon and eBay stuff. I'm finally going to upgrade the DualSense Edge and the DualSense with bigger batteries. I've decided.
What's the storage, the amount?
Ooh, I should have looked. It's I think I want to say it's twice the size.
Twice the size.
Let me see.
Is it actually twice the size? I mean, whenever you're buying these batteries out of China, it's sometimes they'll just not actually give you the capacity.
I had to double check to make
Yeah.
sure. Because there are a lot of people were doing just that, right? They would get the battery. It would say on that it's a certain size. There's one that's like 10,000 milliamp hours or something like that. And it's
That's
like, that's not correct. No, these are like one, for example, that I got is 5,000 milliamp hour. The other one for the Edge is 3,000 milliamp hour.
mm.
So it's like twice the size,
I
basically.
say they're like 2,800, I think, aren't they? In the
Yeah.
standard controllers.
Yeah, I think the Edge is much smaller though. Like I think the Edge
Mm.
is less than like or 2,000 or something like that.
Oof.
So I was gonna replace them and see what we're dealing with in terms of battery life. The Edge specifically, because there were times with Ghost Yote, I did get down to where it was like blinking at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been hitting it a lot lately.
So that's what I'm gonna see. I don't know if it's gonna be I'm gonna keep the old battery just in case hanging around, and I'll run some tests and see what we're dealing with. Good news is it's actually not that bad to change the battery out in these things. So
I've actually never serviced a DualSense before, so I wouldn't know.
they're not too bad to open. Like you
Uh,
pop the front off, the R1, L1 come up, and then you can start unscrewing it, and it comes apart from the back, and then there's the battery.
Sounds pretty standard. I did want to point out a little PSA here for the updated PS5 Slim consoles. It seems like we're now getting reports that pretty much everywhere, like globally, whether it's a disc or digital console, it is that new one with the matte finish on the
Mhm.
center. So, which like that's the thing for some people, they prefer that. So, like if you're
Yes.
in the market for a new PS5, that is probably like one to consider because it has that. And also worth mentioning, we have a early rumor for Black Friday from Bilbo Kuhn writing for Deal Labs, and they typically always have very accurate info. The only thing they have right now is that there will be a slim console bundle with Fortnite cosmetics and 1,000 V-Bucks, but the discount is $100. So right
Yes.
now PS5 is 550, so the sale is 450. So if you're in the market for a PS5, you can get one somewhat more affordable, even post price increase.
When do they usually announce the Black Friday? Like in previous years?
I thought pretty close, like pretty close to when the sales go live. Either
Like
that
the
or
week
yeah, like
week
they just
before or something, right?
something like that. I could be dead wrong.
I'll
I
have to
almost want to
see.
say
It's on PlayStation blog, right? Usually do that. Let me see.
I almost want to say like they announce it and the sales go live like the next day or something.
Okay, here's 2024. It was dated November 20th, 2024 for their Black Friday post. So
Mhm.
yes, it is very, very close then. Let me see,
Yeah.
November 20th. That would have been, what day is that? Wednesday. So the day before, basically. The day
Mhm.
before Thanksgiving. They have that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. If you're in the market, just hold out.
So I
That
don't
should be.
think we're even gonna, let me see. Trying to see where that lines up for us. If we'll have Click R3 when the Black Friday stuff comes out. We might be able to do it the night of
What, like cover Black Friday on the scene?
Wednesday, the 19th might line up for that.
Wow.
Well, then otherwise, because then we have then there's Thanksgiving. So yeah.
John,
So we
we
would
should just get
record
mics and
early in the
hit.
week.
We should get mics and hit the streets.
Should we?
Interview, interview the fine people at Best Buys and
Yes,
Targets. And
I'm sure that'd go well. Go
what
during
games you
Black
pick?
Friday. Are you gonna do? Are you doing Black Friday this year?
I don't think I've ever really bought many things during Black Friday.
I
Yeah.
used to go. I mean, I feel like it used to be a lot better for going out places. I mean, this is a lot. Feels like a long time ago now, but I mean, it was like the late PS4, Xbox One, early Switch era, like that 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
And you just go to Walmart and they just have stickers on everything, and you just go in, pick up $15 games, $20 games all day, all brand new and marked way down. And you just clean up. I did
Oh
that
yeah.
for a while, and it's not. I feel like it hasn't been like that in a couple of years.
I wouldn't know. I definitely don't go out to do anything. If I buy something, it's online. So
Maybe I'll go out and do it this year just to see where we are.
John, we'll hit the scene.
Boots on the ground reporting here, where I go
Boots
to
on the ground.
Walmart and buy
Yeah.
video games.
Man, what are you picking up today? What physical video game are you picking up? Physical.
Yeah.
You're talking about here for something else.
Those could be some funny interviews at Walmart. I will say that based on my time there.
Yeah, okay, Walmart.
That's it. Walmart's right near me, so I just go there. Best Buy, that's got to be like a madhouse, I'm sure. But Walmart's close. Parking lot's big, so it's easy to get around and get in and out. Your cat's
Cat's
loud.
she's yelling at me. What do you
Jeez.
want? I know you got food downstairs. I don't know what you're asking me for. We have some hardware news. September 2025 US data coming in from Circana. Just notable here because one cool factoid is that PS5 has surpassed lifetime PS3 sales in the US.
Mhm.
So that means PS5 is over like 23 million in the US, basically, because that's what PS3 was lifetime sales. Can't say I'm surprised. PS3 globally was like 88 something million. So it's not the biggest number out there for at least relative to PlayStation consoles. So it wasn't going to be hard to beat. We also
PS5 is
learned
right up against that, right? So it's like a couple more reports. Actually, probably after this holiday, even definitely before GTA 6. I assume we're gonna find out that it passed the PS3
for full global. Yeah.
Yeah.
We also learned that PS5 is still ahead of PS4 on a launch line basis by about 4.6% in the US. Globally, it is still behind. The other cool thing, though, John, dialing back to the handheld stuff, PlayStation Portal has a very high attach rate. We learned from Circana from that September data that the PS Portal has exceeded a 5% attach rate to PS5 consoles in the US. So with 23 something million, 5% of that, it's like 1.15 million units for the Portal. Does that sound like a lot to you, or, what do you think?
That's a good question because I'm not even sure how to gauge that, since it needs a PS5 first off. Well, I guess if you have PS Plus Premium, but most people are going to buy it because they have the PS5 already. So it's kind of already viewed as an accessory that's niche or very specific even.
Mhm.
It seems like it's enough for Sony to go, okay, maybe a dedicated handheld does make sense. And that's all that matters. The Portal was always going to be the portal into the next handheld. There it is. Yep.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
Yes, sir.
Man, and they say you're not quick on your feet, John.
I
I don't
know,
know. I
right?
don't know. I disagree.
I was sitting down for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were. I saw it too.
Mhm.
I think this is high. 5%, more than 5%. That's
For a $200 remote play device, it's
yeah.
not cheap.
I would have built this thing a 1%er all day, every day. So that seems like a lot to me. That's what's going on with the Portal. All right. We
Did you
did
get
this
did you see the
story.
data point for the PS5 price increase not affecting buying habits?
I mean, it seemed like it didn't do much.
I saw that come up, and that was very interesting to me because it went up to 550,
Yeah.
and I think it was Matt who said that. I think Matt Piscatella said that it didn't affect anything when it came to buying habits. People were still just buying the system at that price, even though it went up in price.
Yeah, I'm curious what well, it's hard to say over the holiday season because it'll be on sale, but yeah, it's still like a higher average spend over time. But seeing 550 not being that discouraging is that like alarming, or is that just the new normal?
What, that it didn't discourage buying? Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
like is that the new normal?
it might be, man. That's the thing. You're right, because we look at it and go, man, this stuff's getting expensive. And it is. But I don't, the general audience, maybe they still go, this is expensive, but I still want it. And that's enough, Although there's all kinds of discussion around credit card rates and like debt and stuff getting out of control. So I don't know all the economic
That's
stuff around how people are buying these things. But the point is, they're still selling. And 550 does not seem to be a big enough deterrent at this time, which tells me that 600 probably isn't either. Because the psychological barrier is you got to see the 6, but they're going to make it $599.9. It's that whole thing of $549 to $599 feels like less of a jump than $499 to $549.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
I think they can do a $600 PS6 and be relatively fine with it. But it is interesting that 550 doesn't seem to be a problem right now.
Man.
Yeah, it's kind of
tough.
it's interesting.
I'm still borderline speechless as everything is more expensive.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Everything.
yeah,
Everything. I mean, John,
grocery crazy.
those ramen bowls are looking a lot more enticing nowadays. I'll tell you that much.
They're putting phone numbers up on the checkout total when you go to the grocery store nowadays.
We only have yeah, I only got these 2 other news stories. I'm probably missing a lot of stuff. I'm obviously lost in the sauce here with like all the shit I've been playing. So I just had 2 more stories about Final Fantasy VII Part 3, Remake
Rebirth?
Part 3.
Oh, I thought you beat it.
No, no, but we do have the Rebirth director, Naoki Yamaguchi, doing a lot of press interviews recently. Doing a lot
Hmm.
of talking. He was speaking during the Brazil Game Show 2025, and he is very confident that people will like the final entry. He says, quote, "Of course, I already have a clear idea of the ending for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. I think this conclusion will appeal to both those who loved the original and those who will become fans of Final Fantasy VII thanks to the remake series. I'm confident this new game will be loved by everyone." Loved by everyone.
Hmm.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's already kind of. I mean, the Rebirth. You're still playing through it, but
I
Rebirth
know,
was
I
like
know, I know.
controversial as it is. I'm not gonna. I can't spoil anything, obviously, for you. You have to get to the end, and then you can tell me what you think about it. But I
Yeah.
mean, it is. It's controversial. As soon as things changed with the first one, even though they put remake on the front, that was enough. To already make it controversial.
Yeah.
Rebirth does some other craziness, so it's. I don't know if it'd be. I mean, they'd have to really tie everything together very, very neatly at the end. But then they start talking about another game. Maybe it's not a trilogy. It's like, hold on a minute. Hold on. What are we doing here? So,
Yeah, apparently Rebirth was going to get DLC, but plans changed. The Rebirth director, Naoki Yamaguchi, was speaking with WCCF Tech and revealed that they did have DLC plans for Rebirth, but they decided against that to focus on the third entry. And he also said that they are actively considering DLC or another full title after the conclusion of the trilogy. So it seems like we might get more of this game, more of it after part 3.
that's what I mean. It sounds like they're going to do more with it. So,
I'm actually not opposed to the idea of like another Yuffie sort of thing, like almost like a Miles Morales. Give us like I'm fine with that.
right. Yeah. That's true.
I don't think you could do another whole full blown like. Don't do a whole another game. Like just do more on the character. Like people love Vincent Valentine. Like let's do Dirge of Cerberus again or something. Do that.
Yeah, I have to give him some leeway, Naoki, because randomly followed me on Twitter the other day. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, now they're watching. They're paying attention. So, I have to give him some leeway on this one.
Wow. Congrats,
I
Chuck.
don't know why. I don't know if he. I don't know. He just came across me randomly. I was like, all right, I'll follow this guy, see what he's doing. That's about it. So I'll give him a break. I'll give him a break on the idea of this third one that everyone loves it, and that we might get more DLC or something for now. Because I'm still trying to figure out what they're going to call the thing.
Were people theorizing what it would be called, and like names have already been thrown out there?
Yeah, remake. So remake, rebirth, and I saw somebody throw out a really good one. I'm trying to remember where I saw it.
Yeah, I don't remember what they were, but I know people have like pitched good ones.
There was a good one that I saw the other day, and I really wish I could remember what it was.
Yeah, reunion.
No, it was. I don't think it was reunion. I think it was something else. Reunion makes sense, but it was something else, and I wish I could remember what it was. Was it It wasn't reborn. Maybe it was reborn. I wish I could remember. It was a good one, but that's the thing that everyone's trying to figure out right now. Oh, Returns. Maybe it was Returns. It might have been that. Returnal. It might have been Returns. Yeah, that's the thing, Radix, right? They used Reunion for Crisis Core Remake. It might have been Returns. But that's the thing. I'm so curious what they call it, because remember with Rebirth, they were like, we can't really say what the title is yet because it might kind of give it away. So like that was mentioned before. That's happened with many different sequels. I think the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was another one where I can't really tell you what the title is yet because it might give stuff away. So I think that just happens with some of these sequels. It's going to happen with the third one. That subtitle is going to be very important, I think. So Revenge, I see Revenge pop up. That's a good one. So Reunion is very good. Yes, Reunion is a good one, but I'm interested. I want to see how they tie it all together at the end.
Well, John, that's the last news story I got for you.
What about a PSX going to give it to you?
PSX gonna give it to you. This is the topic of the show where we go over something old, cool, nostalgic, or hip, interesting about PlayStation history. Teach the kids something they didn't know about the PlayStation.
That's a whole thing
Sega.
there, whole intro.
Oh, I try and mix it up a little bit. I really want to get
Going
it.
back and forth.
I really want to get a soundbite of like DMX.
Oh,
X gonna get.
let's be real. Like, you know
We
what?
incorporate that.
Let's do it right now. Does he have a cameo page?
Okay, well, John, first off, if he did, that would be from Beyond the Grave.
I mean,
it would be from Beyond the Grave. I just want you to know he would be speaking to us through a Ouija board.
We can't do that.
You said cameo. You want somebody else to do it?
No, I'm saying so with cameo, they'll have clips that they've already recorded.
Okay.
For like a while. If you could just have a cameo one that you can put in there of him and then have you cut in with it.
Oh, so something much worse.
Okay. No, I mean, it's got to be like kind of tongue in cheek with it, but like we can't just play DMX is what I'm saying. We can just play it,
well,
but
no,
if you have a cameo thing of him.
No, you can use like a second.
I mean,
it's like a second.
YouTube will kill you.
It's a second.
Will take X
gonna give X gonna give it to you.
That's what I mean. You got to see, because sometimes they'll do like soundbite stuff that they'll just have up like as a thing to sell.
I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to risk it.
Okay. All
right. Anyway, PSX gonna give it to you. We got a thing for you, for the kiddos, and all the adults here, mostly adults.
Mm-hmm.
Sega versus Sony, their softball game in 1995. I think a lot of people weren't aware of this, but Sega and Sony. I don't think
anyone was.
Sega and Sony had a softball game in 1995. I attached a link to this PSX. Go and give it to you, just so I remember that where I can source this. So, what magazine? This was Game Informer issue 29, September 1995. The launch of the PlayStation. I'm going to read this little blurb here. Mm-hmm. Sega 24, Sony 20. Sega did win the softball game. Staff members from Sega of America defeated a team from Sony Computer Entertainment of America 24-20 in slow pitch softball. The battle on the diamond was the brainchild of SCEA's president, Steve Race, and a rematch is in the works, but the real competition should unfold at retail locations across the country as both of these companies' 32-bit systems get their complete launch this month. Good luck to both teams. They had a little friendly softball game. This was like actually a pretty, I don't want to say well-documented thing, but like it showed up in all these magazines at the time during that launch. Like it was a known thing that the senior leadership of Sega and Sony had a slow pitch softball match.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
It says rematch is still out there though.
I don't think they ever actually did that.
No, but it all I hear is it's still out there. So you could have right now.
You want
Sega versus Sony?
Yeah, okay. You want them to do it now?
Maybe that's how they should just be settling all this stuff. Slow pitch softball for all these companies that have issues with each other. I mean, Sony versus Tencent, slow pitch softball for the rights of the Heroes of Motirum or whatever, Motirum.
I mean, let's handle it like real adults. Let's get out in the baseball diamond, and throw some. I wish there was footage of this. I'm curious if there is.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, if there's any footage of it. And I think Steve Race left like shortly after this. So I think there was like another blurb like in one or two issues later, and it might have been Game Informer or Game Pro, something like that. But somebody like one of the writers made a joke like, that was it. Lost the softball game. He had to leave. So
it's probably like terrible footage because they have that big old like camcorder over their shoulder recording it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was going through some of these archives and I was like, oh, I forgot that this was a thing. I was like, I got a list of PSX go and give it to you. So I'm like, I'll throw that in. That's like just a neat fact.
What happened? I wonder how that would be really interesting if that happened today.
Oh, dude, that shit would be live streamed and everything.
Oh, it would be that'd be huge publicity for both companies if they did it.
They go hard.
I don't know. I don't know if they're worried about somebody losing the other and being like, oh, we can't lose. I mean, so much softball. It'd just be funny. But we missed our chance, like Jim Ryan out there versus like Phil Spencer. Slow pitch softball.
Well, it's also like at the end of the day, everyone's still friendly with each other. Like these people do
Yeah.
meet up at trade shows. They talk, they chit chat. So if somebody came up with this idea, thought it was like a funny thing to do, and so you got a bunch of and they were all still
Herman
young at the
Holst.
time too.
I bet you could play some. I bet you could play some slow pitch softball.
I bet he could. I bet Herman tears some ass out there.
Maybe that would be fun. That'd be entertaining.
Yeah, I think it would be. That's the problem with the games industry nowadays. We don't play enough sports. Just in a nice
up.
Yeah. It's just not it's not fun anymore.
Victor says, I tried playing Lost Soul Aside today, and it's gotten pretty decent now with updates. Also, have you guys heard any news on the new Jet Set Radio game? Jet Set Radio game, no. I also haven't checked out Lost Soul Aside since the first time I played it. I will
You only played it once.
Some point. I'll check at some point with the updates. But Jet Set Radio, it's, as far as I know, just still in development. You know what? I mean, it's Sega, so they can show up anywhere and show it. Like, it could be at the Game Awards in December, which we're coming up on that pretty quickly right now. If you think about it, we're a month and a half out from it. And I assume we're going to have a bunch of announcements for 2026. Jet Set Radio kind of feels like it should be lining up for next year. So maybe it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's been like very little movement on that since the last time they showed it.
Now is going to be one of their kind of like flagship ones. That's like one of their big projects that they're really focusing on. So I wouldn't be shocked if maybe it reappears at Jeff's show, or maybe it is like late 2026 and it shows up at the Summer Game Fest next year. So it'll be cool when they're ready to show it. I'm excited for it. So,
well, that's it, John. I think we got most of it. Yeah,
it was good. A historic episode, you could say.
Very.
With Halo, historic episode. It's gonna be so weird to see that box art, but I'm here for it. I'll be buying it. I gotta buy the PS5 copy of Halo.
That will be a thing. Yeah. Yep. Maybe even open the damn thing.
Well, I'll do like shorts for unboxing, because I've realized that it's funny.
See.
I realize people just want to see them be opened, and it's people like, oh, thanks for unboxing this. Like, oh, okay. So I just started doing that more, and people seem to like it. Like, and I have just a bunch of games I haven't opened. Like, I have that Digimon Time Strangers game that I haven't opened, and I wonder if I just do that soon whenever I'm ready to play it. Maybe. So sometimes you get surprised because you'll have a reverse cover art in there or something. So they should do that with Halo, reverse cover art. That would be cool.
And a manual.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. I was surprised Pokemon had that in there, like a faux manual. So it was cool. I think that's it, though. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Click R3 number 34. We appreciate it. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. That'll be the week of, we went a little later this week because the Halo stuff. So it was pretty obvious it was lining up. And we'll be back. I guess it'd be like that Wednesday or Thursday, that 5th or 6th, depending on time and everything. We'll figure it out there. But we'll be back then and see you guys at that point. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you listen to audio, or I don't know, what do they do on Spotify and Apple? I don't know. Hit the little star or whatever it is. Leave a comment on reviews. Spotify. It's still. Oh, there it is. The reviews. Yeah. Leave a review. Leave a review. That'll work. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Do it all over again.